only there was a website which did all the hard work for you. Now there is. It's called switchcraft.co.uk. It finds the best energy
Jurgen
plan for
Klopp
you
made no
and
bones
keeps
about it.
you on the
Changes
best
for the
deal
order of the day.
automatically, helping
This is
customers
number 3 of
save
3 on the list of priorities. And he gives debuts to Rafael Camacho and Curtis Jones, who become the first Liverpool players born in the new century to start games for Liverpool. Well, Klopp might not like it, but we love January on TalkSport. Wall-to-wall football last weekend, blanket FA Cup coverage across our network. Live tomorrow at Wembley. Stuart and I will be bringing you the Carabao Cup semi-final first leg between Tottenham and Chelsea. Wednesday night, it's Burnley's daunting trip to Manchester City. And tonight, we are live at Molineux as Wolves take on Liverpool live on TalkSport. Referee gets us off and underway with Daniel Sturridge kicking off. Liverpool all in red, shooting from left to right. The home team Wolves in old gold and black shorts, shooting from right to left. And Stuart Pearce is alongside me. Wolves like playing deep against teams like Liverpool, teams that like the ball. They like to do that and then hit them on the break. Will that be their tactic tonight?
I don't think the team's tactic will change in any way, shape or form. That is how the manager likes to play. But when you've got, I was a little bit critical of Liverpool's pressing in the game against Chelsea in the Carabao Cup. I don't think they got that right. I don't think the front three pressed as Klopp likes his front three to press. And with that, the turnover of possession doesn't come as regularly as Liverpool like.
Just confirmation of the Liverpool team. They're starting with Mignolet in goal. The right back is Camacho.
Just for a while, the sun sets on Spurs for the next few vital weeks as he makes his way to the land of the rising sun and the Asia Cup.
And finished off by Heung-min Son.
Sunshine go away today. I don't feel much like dancing.
On to Ali, little flick into Son, and Son will rifle the ball beyond the goalkeeper Adrian, and Son is racing clear. He goes up to the goalkeeper, teases him, and then fires it low and hard past Adrian to give Tottenham Hotspur a 2-goal lead. Son speeds forward. Jorginho comes across, but Son has got some acceleration, and he moves away from Luiz, who is sold a dummy. Son to finish it. What a goal! Wonderful from Son. Wonderful. Son one-on-one with the goalkeeper. He doesn't miss in that situation. And Heung-min Son leading the line in the absence of Harry Kane.
Son from a tight angle, and it is a majestic finish. Ford and he's found Son on the edge of the penalty area, and it's 5.
Sunshine, sunshine, come on back another day.
Well, nice one, Sonny, and Spurs in total control. Heung-min Son must score, has scored, and Tottenham are running riot.
And he's made some 30 yards, 40 yards. Still Son goes. The angle is tight, and he's rolled it in for a great FA Cup goal for Tottenham Hotspur.
After quite a start of the season, he's been having a magnificent time. He's been doing it that way, though, now for some time. We've seen a lot of him in the past on Sunday Exclusive, and we've always thought that he really is Stuart Pearce and Sam Matterface. For me, the perfect professional footballer. He's ready, whether he hasn't played for 6 weeks or only 2 days ago. And when he comes on, if it's not at the start as well, he doesn't seem to need time to get into it. He's absolutely the perfect professional. And I can't see him being anything less than that during the week at the training ground either.
No, I totally agree. From the outside looking at him, he offers Tottenham something different to what they've got up front. When you have a look at across the front four of Tottenham's attack, if you like, with Eriksen, with Ali, with Kane, none of them have got real pace to run away from anyone, but Son has, and I think he's been a fantastic foil to those three. And I also think as well, I probably, if it was down to me, and what do I know, I would have used him a little bit more regularly, because Harry's been good, but there are games where he might score a goal, but he hasn't contributed a great deal, or some games he hasn't contributed. But playing Son up front on his own, he offers that little bit of pace in behind that the other three haven't got.
But looking where Spurs are as well, we talk about everything to do with the striker. We talked about Chelsea for a lot of it, and you mentioned Harry Kane there. They've been blessed most of the time. He's stayed fit and he's stayed scoring and everything. It is fine lines between it working and not, though, isn't it?
Oh, very much so. The one thing with Harry, I think it's psychology of these players. Harry wants to stay fit, you know. He doesn't shirk out of tackles on football pitches. He's just a younger Alan Shearer, really, you know, that he fights his corner, he's professional. When he has got injured, you've got to hold him back in the treatment room, potentially, because he wants to get out there quicker than probably is good for him. And he's just such a breath of fresh air in the modern day game.
And what we see from Son as well is, you know, this incredible ability to have such a good engine, but now with an extraordinarily quick pace over just a few yards.
And extraordinary numbers in terms of finishing, because he's scored 12 goals this season. All of them have come in the last 17 appearances. He did have a slow start to the season because he was away on international duty and missed the first few weeks of the campaign. Then I think it took him a little bit of time to get back up to speed and also to get himself into the team. Now he has, and he's very much a useful addition. 12 goals in his last 17 appearances. When he leaves after the game on Sunday, when they play Manchester United, he's going to be a massive miss.
Yeah, no doubt about that. But having said all of that as well, and to sort of feature others at Spurs, I've been very impressed with some of the youngsters that have come in. Winks we've known about for a while. I think that Skip is doing a really good job as well. They've got that old Spurs thing back that I remember when you were playing. You know, you could go along and watch any level of Spurs footballers, whether it was under 14, under 18, whatever, youth, second team, first. They played all together in exactly the same way.
Yeah, there was a Spurs way. Without doubt, in the 70s and 80s, there was a Spurs way of playing football, and that went right through the club. And you see that now. And they tell me the links between the manager and John McDermott working in the academy are very close as well. And that all adds to that pathway.
It does, because that is something that has never gone away with. As Pochettino has always put his neck on the line, hasn't he, for the youngsters?
And quite rightly so, because as a result of that, he's got Harry Kane, Dele Alli, Harry Winks. On the bench, he's got Skip tonight, even someone like Juan Foyt, a player who has come over from Argentina. I think if any other manager had put him in the first team and he'd performed in some of the ways that he has performed this season, I don't think he would have got another chance as quickly as he did. But he persisted with him, kept him in. He scored an important goal earlier in the campaign at Crystal Palace, and hopefully he'll develop into a Premier League footballer. So the reason he's putting these players in is because he believes in them, and he also gives them the time to develop, and I think it's a very sensible way of doing it. He doesn't do it all at the same time as well. He doesn't play 3 or 4 at the same time. No. He drips one in over a period of time. He's doing it now with Oliver Skip.
I think what he's doing as well is that he's not. It's obviously his communication with the younger players is terrific as well. But however he does it, it's not a case of, you know, this is your chance and put them under that extra pressure. It's nearly, you know, you're part of this.
Yeah, and I gather behind the scenes as well, Sags, he backs them and backs their ability and might accept them making a mistake, like Walker Peters did in Barcelona.
Yeah.
But if you're picked to come from the academy to come and join the first team, I gather there's a demand on what you've got to deliver as a player. You know, you can't just come over and you get a free ride by jumping over the fence, if you like, and going to join the big boys. You've got to deliver once you get there. If you don't deliver that standard, then you go back. And that, for me, is fantastic, because the academy know when the manager of the first team turns around and says, who you got for me? Who's doing well? They've got to put their name to a youngster that they absolutely trust, cast iron, to go and deliver in the first team.
You mentioned about the communication skills that Mauricio Pochettino has, and one of the things that comes across blatantly to me is not only his communication with his players but the staff. He's cultivated a culture in that club where there is very much a positive vibe all over the entire complex. If you go down to the training ground, he's excellent at making sure that everybody knows their role, everybody knows what's expected of them, and as a result, most of the time those people deliver.
There's a lot of respect there, you know.
Absolutely.
There was respect on Friday night for me, for Harry Kane coming on in that game, for Tranmere, and for the fans that had turned up at that game as well. Of course they would like to have seen Tranmere get something, but some of that new generation who were perhaps watching for the first time that level and their England captain, that was special.
Well, I find it very difficult to pick holes in Pochettino's management. He backs youngsters. I think all around the country we want to see the youngsters come out the academy, whatever club you're at, whether you're a Tottenham or it doesn't matter, any club. He doesn't shout his mouth off. He lets his team do his talking for him in the main. The club are building slowly. There are frustrations there, I think, in the financial package with the players, but he mentions it, but he doesn't shove it down your throat, you know, so he does a lot of things right.
A lot of drama at the moment from the music here. The ground is always filling up as it does last minute these days at this level, and everybody now awaits the two sides here. I'm hoping we're going to have a great game tonight. Sam, you made a really good point earlier, though. Is it going to be possibly the case that Chelsea come here to keep themselves in this tie?
Quite possibly. They haven't scored too many goals. 6 they've scored in their last 6 matches. A team at an elite level, and when you look at the opponents that they've played during that time as well, it's not as if they've been playing the big boys over and over and over again. Over that period, Chelsea have played Forest, Southampton, Crystal Palace, Watford, Leicester and Bournemouth.
Well, the sides have been called from the dressing rooms into the holding area and now out onto the Wembley service. It's a London derby. It's the Carabao Cup over 2 legs for a place in the final next month. And for all the talk, it's now down once more to all the action. 51,000 in here. There's a real tension, actually. It's a lifelong following of a football team. That means there are a few moments when you're really free from the passions, the dark emotions you have sitting there as a fan before the game starts, and those feelings. And as I look around Wembley and those that I met coming up Wembley way earlier, I can see it, I can feel it, I can nearly taste it, and I can definitely hear it. It's all here tonight, and it's all live on Talk Sport with Stuart Pearce and Sam Matterface.
Evening everyone. You might think that fighting on all fronts would take its toll. For the first time in their history, Spurs are in the Champions League last 16, the FA Cup 4th round, the Carabao Cup semi-finals, and in with a shout of winning the Premier League. But Tottenham, despite their lack of transfer activity, have lost just 2 of their last 17 games in all competitions. It's some record. And standing between them and a first cup final in 4 years and a second under Maurizio Pochettino is Chelsea, the team that beat them in that final. The rivalry is ripe. Why? Jimmy Greaves, Terry Venables, Chelsea's 20-year hoodoo over Spurs and stopping them winning the title in the Battle of the Bridge. It has its unsavoury elements too, and the clubs have done their best to quash that tonight. Focus on the football, not the hate. The atmosphere can bubble without boiling over. Here are the two teams, starting with Tottenham Hotspur, who have Paulo Gazzaniga in goal. He keeps his place. Only 3 of them do from the game against Tranmere on Friday night. Trippier, Sanchez, Alderweireld and Rose are the back 4. Winks and Sissoko, the 2 holders in midfield, with Ali Eriksson and Son behind Harry Kane. Chelsea welcome back Arrida Balaga in goal, one of 8 changes from the victory over Nottingham Forest at the weekend. It's Azpilicueta at right back, Christensen and Rudiger in the centre of defence, and Alonso at left back, Conte, Jorginho and Barkley in midfield. And then Willian and Hudson-Odoi supporting Eden Hazard as the false number 9. We've got live commentary tomorrow night on the second semi-final of the Carabao Cup. That will be Manchester City against Burton, live tomorrow night from Manchester. But tonight we're concentrating on the activities here at Wembley. Neither Maurizio Sarri or Maurizio Pochettino has ever won a trophy. One of them will get the chance to do so in a final. Will we be closer tonight to finding out which one it will be? In front of a sellout Wembley crowd, live on TalkSport, it's Tottenham Hotspur against Chelsea. And Tottenham will get us off and underway wearing white shirts and navy blue shorts and attacking the goal away to our left-hand side in the first half, and Chelsea all in royal blue attacking the goal away to our right, defending that goal in front of their supporters, of which there are about 5,000 this evening. I'm delighted to say that Stuart Pearce is alongside me again. And we'll get to him in just a second, because Danny Rose is skating down the left-hand side, tries to go through the legs of N'Golo Conte, and then takes it out towards the touchline before Rose then fouls Azpilicueta in the fullback position. Be interesting to see nice and early how Jorginho and Dele Alli are positioned.
I think we know that straight away. There's about 3 yards difference between the two of them, and Ali's following him as he did in the league game. And I don't think he'll give him an inch personally in this game. And tactically, it's how Sarri deals with that. If he feels as though Jorginho's not tying plate again.
Done it before, has he? Past performance predicts future behaviour and all that. And you wouldn't expect him to tonight, but he said yesterday, went there inside. Christensen, who's in for Luiz, by the way, in that central defensive position alongside Rudiger, one of the players that didn't have a great game here in November, heads the ball out towards the far side. Barkley retrieves it. He's midway inside his own territory, plays a cross-field ball to Azpilicueta, and he finds Eden Hazard, the false number 9 tonight, who runs away from Davinson Sanchez and comes out to the right. Hudson-Odoi takes over, skips infield, goes beyond Eriksen, looks for a pass, finds Hazard, pops it off, gets it back again, couldn't control the third ball that came his way, and then it goes back to Gazzaniga, who wasn't under too much pressure, but shanked it out for a throw-in, levelled the edge of the Tottenham penalty area.
With the inclusion of Hudson-Odoi tonight, do you think that's in direct relationship to the bid that's come in at all, that it's a statement that says, look, it's a big semi-final, but you've got a big future at the club, we want you to turn the move down?
It very much looks like that, doesn't it? Yeah. It's 2 games in a row now for him as Barkley gives the ball away. It's kicked long, clear by Ali, and Son has outpaced Christensen. He's gone down on the edge of the penalty area. He's glanced at Michael Oliver, the referee, and I wonder if Chris Kavanagh, the VAR, will be looking at that.
We spoke about this before. At the front 4, there's only one player that could have got anywhere near on the end of a ball of that nature, and that's Son. And that's why they'll miss him in a couple of weeks' time.
Here's Hudson-Odoi, dancing down the right side, skips in past Harry Winks, plays a neat ball into N'Golo Conte, finds Jorginho. Jorginho wriggles out of Ali's grasp and sends it back to Hudson-Odoi. His ball onto Conte is not the best, but Alderweireld takes it to the byline and then clears it out towards the near side. It's away for a throw to Chelsea. 2.5 minutes played. You're listening to Talk Sport live at Wembley. Tottenham against Chelsea in the Carabao Cup. Tottenham started the league game here with a dash of dazzling speed. They were 2 up in 16 minutes. Rida Balaga and David Luiz with days to forget. Chelsea will be hoping for a more tepid affair tonight. First legs usually are. Here is Eden Hazard, back to goal, right on the edge of the area, finds Jorginho, then Barkley. Barkley runs his studs over the ball and sends it wide to Willian. Willian moves towards the edge of the area, pops it off to Hazard. He in turn goes back to the former Everton man Barkley, who unleashes a shot from distance, which doesn't trouble Gazzaniga at his near post and flashes behind and away for a goal kick.
Yeah, probably one of the biggest problems Chelsea will have this evening is the numbers game in the box. When the ball's out wide, because no natural centre forward, no big target man in there, they're going to score their goal, if at all, by probably interaction of passing.
Mistake by Barkley. He nudged it into the path of Son, who's run away from the centre circle and out to the wide right position. He's got into the box now. He's still taking on all comers. Gets it back to Eriksen, 5 yards short of the penalty area. Back out wide to Trippier. His cross is in towards Harry Kane with an overhead kick, but it's grasped by Rida Balaga, who dives away to his right and smothers the ball and pulls it into his chest.
Great set-up play, not much pace on the cross, so Harry Kane couldn't generate the power he was hoping for. Technique was good, but certainly he had to generate all the power himself, and when you're a bicycle kicking, that's not easy.
Here is Hudson-Odoi moving up to the edge of the Spurs box, finds Hazard, who didn't control it properly, and Sissoko was coming from behind him, and he just about nabbed it and turned it away, and back to Christian Eriksen.
I think the fact that Sissoko has played so well in that central midfield area is probably one of the reasons they felt fit to move Dembele on, potentially.
Yeah. Well, if you think that his upturn in form even earned him a recall to the France international setup, it just shows how impressive he has been this season for Tottenham Hotspur. Full of energy, full of running, and even more tactically aware than he was before. And he certainly looks more like the player that they were expecting to get when they spent 30 million quid on him.
Yeah, I mean, I think for long periods of his early career at Tottenham, he almost looked like a head-down winger, didn't he? With very little game understanding. I'm probably being a little bit overcritical there, but certainly he's got this newfound role, which certainly suited him.
Chelsea only had 2 shots on target in the game in November. Maurizio Sarri, who looked a little bit unshaven and dishevelled yesterday at the press conference, suggested that they would have to approach the game differently today. They certainly had a little bit more room to manoeuvre than they had in that game. But Tottenham have had 65% possession of the ball so far in the match, although Chelsea's passing accuracy has been 94%. Here is Willian down the left side looking for Eden Hazard. Willian scurries back after he was robbed of the ball by Trippier, moves back into an advanced position, watches the run of Callum Hudson-Odoi on this right hand side, who gets into the penalty area, gets a shot away down low towards the goalkeeper. It's an easy stop for Gazzaniga, but Chelsea's first shot in anger in the game comes from the 18-year-old who's been linked with Bayern Munich. And it's a bright start for Callum Hudson-Odoi. Only 1 league appearance so far this season, but Maurizio Sarri has certainly changed his tune. Now thinks he can be a Premier League regular. It has meant tonight that Willian is playing on the left-hand side of the Chelsea attack rather than the right, which is his more natural position. Hudson-Odoi certainly performs much better when he plays on this side.
I think it's a big game tonight for Ross Barkley, and I really do, you know. He flatters to deceive at times, but I think this is a great opportunity for him to shine.
Well, he is certainly, I think, enjoying his new career at Chelsea. He's had a lot more football in the last 6 months and has sort of alternated with Matteo Kovacic in that central midfield role alongside Jorginho and N'Golo Kanté. He had a brilliant period in October where he scored 3 goals in 3 games. Hasn't scored in 14 matches since. Christian Eriksen is chasing another long ball, played forward this time by Danny Rose. The header away by Christensen is easily gobbled up by Kepa Arrizabalaga. And the Spurs fans are finding their voice inside this stadium, a stadium which is 2/3 full tonight, 51,000 inside Wembley Stadium. The top tier is closed. That's because of capping. You can only have a certain number of events here at Wembley that are full capacity. Ball down the left for Willian to chase, overhit by Chelsea and picked up by Gazzaniga. He bowls it out to the right hand side, finds Trippier. Kane shrugs off Jorginho, and then it's flicked out towards the left, and Danny Rose takes on the charge. He faces up Callum Hudson-Odoi, comes infield and gives it to Eriksen. Now Alderweireld, who's just left of the centre circle, and Tottenham composed and controlled in possession of the football on halfway. 8 minutes gone, 0-0 the score. Talk Sport. Trippier chips the ball towards the centre of the penalty area. They're attacking away to our left, away by Rudiger, and then further clear by Kanté, and then up to Hazard from Willian. He's got to hold on to the ball here, no one in front of him. He turns and only sees white jerseys, so cuts back. Hudson-Odoi makes an intelligent run from outside to in, but the ball doesn't reach him, and now he's in an offside position, and he's got to get back and help out with the rest of the team play. Maurizio Sarri is urging his team to come over towards the near side. Kanté forward to Callum Hudson-Odoi, back into Kanté once again. Azpilicueta. Jorginho now centre field inside the Tottenham half. Barkley taking over, looking out for Marcus Alonso, who's only managed 1 goal this season when he was so much more of a threat last campaign. Willian takes on Sissoko and Trippier, gets to the byline, chops back, sends the ball into the near post. Barkley arriving, little nick off a defender as Barkley stabbed it goalwards. Might have been Alderweireld who got a touch on that. It goes behind and away for a corner to Chelsea.
Yeah, Chelsea very dogmatic in the way they build up. It's little 1-2s around the edge of the box that look as though they're going to be the biggest threat. Obviously, with the lack of height in the box, could cause them a problem.
Here is the ball in towards the near post, which takes a nasty deflection and pops behind. I think it was Barkley who got in front of Sissoko there, and it didn't really do much with it. Tried to help it on more than anything else. It wasn't a great corner from Willian. It goes behind and away for a goal kick away to our right-hand side. Maurizio Sarri is making notes furiously, sitting on the bench alongside Gianfranco Zola and in front of Carlo Cudicini, who's also on the bench. He represented both these clubs with distinction. Sarri said yesterday, Stuart, that we played too much on the inside against Tottenham in November. We need to play more on the outside. Just explain what he means by that.
I think he's talking about a switch of play. You know, the likes of Hudson-Odoi playing out wide, and I think how I decode that is the fact of they've tried to go through the middle all the time and got flooded out. So it's a case of getting the ball, moving the Tottenham defence from side to side and getting the ball switched and isolate players one-on-one.
Tottenham gave the ball away. Alonso was on the attack. He's now lost it to Trippier, and there's a chance for Spurs to break. Christensen, who was being told off by Jorginho just moments ago, has had to react now and scurry into the left fullback position, where he has done that, won the ball back, and Chelsea are in possession again. 11 minutes gone. Talk Sport live at Wembley in the Carabao Cup semi-final. First leg. The second leg we played on a Thursday night, the 24th of January. Here on the left is Alonso for Chelsea, progressing up the pitch with Hazard. Callum Hudson-Odoi has it now, right angle of the penalty area, produces a cross into the box, which is too close to Gazzaniga, and the Argentine, the cup keeper, 6'4" tall, comes out and claims.
I think the game's been, for a first leg of a semi-final, there's been no caginess in the game at all, has it? Both teams are looking to break each other down, get in behind them, some good runs from both teams.
And they've given the ball away to Tottenham again. Jorginho sending Callum Hudson-Odoi down the right. It's too heavy for him, though, and Jorginho knows that. The idea was right from Chelsea. Quick turnover inside the Tottenham half. Jorginho trying to send the ball down the right side of the penalty area. Hudson-Odoi went scrambling after it, but it was just zipping off the turf and goes behind and away for a goal kick. You'd be expecting goals from Spurs tonight, wouldn't you, after the games recently, smashing in a number of them against Tranmere and Everton, 22 in the last 5 games.
Yeah, and most people we've spoke to will probably fancy Tottenham to come out on top of this one, having scored maybe 2-3 goals, that type of scoreline.
Chelsea, though, are the ones that are threatening at the moment.
Yeah, they've started the game well, I think, Chelsea.
And Conte this time trying to lead an attack, which is broken down by Alderweireld, who's just slid the ball out for a throw-in. Deep inside Spurs territory, on the right, Azpilicueta's going to take the throw. Hazard waiting in the centre, and Hudson-Odoi goes running down the right, looking to latch onto it. Falling away was Danny Rose. He clears, but only as far as Barkley, who keeps Tottenham pinned in. Willian back to Jorginho, back to Christensen. Christensen, under a little bit of pressure, plays it square to Rudiger, then on to Azpilicueta. Azpilicueta on to Hudson-Odoi, flick back to the Spaniard, another one back into Hudson-Odoi, who keeps the ball moving. He's had a lot of touches, hasn't he, in the opening 13 minutes? Yeah,
I mean, that might go back to Sarri's point about playing on the outside potentially, because Tottenham have got a tight-ish midfield three in Sissoko, Winks and Eriksen, and the three in front of those in Ali, Kane and Son sort of stay up the pitch a little bit. So Chelsea are getting the ball in those wide areas in front of the fullbacks, and that's where the likes of Odoi and Willian are getting on the ball with the switch of play.
14 gone, 0-0. Chelsea are the Cup Kings. Spurs haven't won a trophy since 2008. In the intervening 10 years, the Blues have won 4 FA Cups, 3 Premier Leagues, 1 double, a League Cup, the Champions League and the Europa League.
What are you saying?
They've won a lot. The ball is out over on the far side. I'll also say that Maurizio Sarri will be well aware that no manager in the Roman Abramovich era has ever survived a season when they haven't lifted one.
But the beauty of football, Sam, the only thing that matters is tonight's game and tonight's result.
Indeed. For now, anyway.
Yeah, till tomorrow.
Here is Gazzaniga deep inside his own half. The ball is played square to Alderweireld. Eriksen, Alderweireld again. Pressure coming from Conte. They've managed to get out of that little net down inside their own half, Spurs, and they've moved it out to Eriksen. Kane swirled it towards the right side, and Willian actually inadvertently helped it on to Trippier, who's moved up into an advanced position on the right. Son comes short at rapid speed, tucks it back into Harry Winks, finds Christian Eriksen. Eriksen now, eyes darting, linked again with Real Madrid today. Touches it on into the feet of Son, back to Eriksen. He drifts the ball into the penalty area, but it's too high for Dele Alli, and Arrizabalaga comes out, catches it, and will clear upfield.
Both teams certainly have got punching in the wide areas from full-back and wide players, and that for me is going to be the area where both teams can hurt each other.
Well, Chelsea started the season getting their full-backs, more importantly, one full-back, Alonso, high up the pitch. That hasn't been the case as much in the last few weeks. I wonder whether or not he's suffering from the fact that he's now playing at left-back rather than left wing-back, and that has curtailed his attacking instincts just a bit.
Well, I mean, naturally his position will be probably 10 to 15 metres deeper, playing as a natural left back, but certainly when you've got two wide players, like we're looking across the line here to Willian and Hudson-Odoi, they're hugging the touchline, so there isn't a great deal of room to get on and beyond them. If they come off the line, then it frees space up to go beyond them, but they're hugging the touchline, so they just need a support position from the fullbacks.
They're wider than Jurgen Klopp's smile, aren't they? Here is Hudson-Odoi running back into central midfield, plays it square and finds Alonso now. He's in the centre circle at the moment, Hudson-Odoi, but Williams almost magnetically touching the chalk of the white line over on the far side. They're midway inside Tottenham's territory as Alonso comes forward, gives it to Hazard, square onto N'Golo Kanté. Kanté out towards the right side. Now it's picked up by Azpilicueta. Tries to steer it into the centre. Prodded away by Alderweireld. Kanté's got it back again. Comes into Azpilicueta. Back outside to Hazard. Hazard looking up, wanting some support. Chips it over Sissoko. Finds Barkley. Sets up a volley. And well, someone else is going to have to go and get that, I'm afraid, because it's miles over the top and swirling well away from the target.
Yeah, great play there by Hazard. Just picked Barkley out, centre of the goal, maybe you'd say about 30 yards out. I think he should do better. His first touch is good, sets up the volley, and it's just wayward.
He's never won in 10 previous appearances against Tottenham. Ross Barkley. He'll be hoping to change that statistic tonight. Eriksen. Tried to play it towards Kane, but Callum Hudson-Odoi was quickly there to try and intervene. It ricochets off the England captain and goes back into Alderweireld, and then across to Harry Winks. Now it's with Davinson Sanchez. Eriksen short of the centre circle. Tucking it tonight, Eriksen, Sissoko, then back into Sanchez, and now it's with Harry Winks again. He clips it towards the left, looking for Rose, but Hudson-Odoi was there to stop it, and then he got himself in a tangle with Kanté, and Spurs have broken away with Winks, and then Ali, then Winks again, back to Danny Rose. That's good football from Spurs. They tuck it around so neatly, play the ball at speed and with precision.
I like the way how they trust Harry Winks with the ball. They really do. They give him the ball even in tight areas. They're quite happy. The senior players roll it into a young kid. I remember in my latter years at West Ham, Michael Carrick was the same. Broke into the team at a really young age, but you trusted him with the football.
22 now, Harry Winks, a seasoned international. Well, 3 caps. Very much part, I think, of the future, though, with Gareth Southgate in charge. I expect Gareth to be here tonight. He was with us last night, wasn't he? At the
He was. I bumped into him. Oh, but I'm sure he won't thank me for saying this. You know, on the back of the waistcoat scenario, him and Steve Holland were in
that'll be sold out within minutes as well.
It certainly will. I would ask the general public to have a look and see whether they like the look.
20 minutes gone. You're listening to Talk Sport. He's a nice bloke, though, so it's okay. It's back to Christensen, who plays the ball square towards the right back Azpilicueta, into Kanté. Kanté back in field it goes to Azpilicueta, who's just moved infield a little bit. Out wide again to Hudson-Odoi. Chelsea building momentum here and trying to get towards the Tottenham goal. Hudson-Odoi fancies chances against Winks, takes him on, lays the ball off to Hazard. He's going to strike from distance. It moved in the air, but it was well controlled by the fingertips of Gazzaniga, who patted it down and will easily clear. Good chance.
Yeah, it was a good chance, but once again Chelsea are loath to get to the byline really and put crosses in because that real lack of height they got. There's no one in the front 6 really for Chelsea that's got a physical presence in the air, so they've got to work things and got to take shots from deep.
And we'll remember earlier in the season when we've even seen crosses going into the box. I think actually even in that November game here, and N'Golo Kanté was the man trying to get on the end of those crosses. It's something that is not going to happen, is it? The ball forward by Alderweireld. Son is offside, and it's going to be a free kick just on the edge of the penalty area for Chelsea. So we've played 20 minutes. It is 0-0, and we've got more football for you tomorrow. Burton going to Manchester City, and I know that you've been doing a little bit of digging on that. Are you looking forward to it?
I certainly am. Should be a great game. I'm sure Burton will take absolutely thousands in that. Nigel's done brilliant this year, getting his team. In fact, this competition has been a real salvation. Kick-started their season, and they built a season on the back of this campaign. But Nigel's got a rich history in this competition, you know, he, as a player especially.
Given away by Alonso from Arrizabalaga's goal kick, and then, well, it was carelessly given back to Chelsea by Harry Winks, actually. I think he was trying to scoop that forward for Heung-min Son, but he was inaccurate with his pass. Chelsea trying to go at the other end, and Callum Hudson-Odoi has been sent over the top. Again, the ball just drifts out of play, and it goes out for a throw-in deep inside the Tottenham half of the field. 0-0.
I'll tell you what's impressed me with both teams. Both teams are great technicians of the football and can play that short pass, a little 10-yard pass to a teammate, but both have looked to run in behind and play in behind to mix their games up, and that, when you're defending that, is not one size fits all. 1 minute you're dealing with a runner that stretches you long, the next minute they're playing short and interchange around you.
Hudson-Odoi deep inside Spurs territory, tries to tuck it back to Jorginho. It reaches Eriksen instead. It's into the air and away by Rudiger. Oh, and then miscontrolled by Christensen, his international teammate. Eriksen is trying to find Kane now with a cross from the left edge of the area, which is cut out by Alonso, covered for his central defender. And Chelsea managed to get away with one and end up clearing it upfield. And Hudson-Odoi sending the ball infield to Jorginho, trying to help it onto Kanté. That move breaks down, and it's back with Gazzaniga. I know that Maurizio Sarri said that the difference between the two teams in the game in November was about attitude as much as anything else. They felt that there was a difference in commitment levels and focus that day. He did say he wasn't really aware of the rivalry between Chelsea and Tottenham until they got beaten up by Spurs in that match. He certainly knew about it afterwards.
I think Chelsea as a football team that day just got flustered, and the worst of the lot was Luiz.
He's on the bench today as Kane goes through into the penalty area. Now the referee, I think, is going to consult with the VAR here, because the ball's gone over the top and Kane's gone down. We knew that the offside flag had already half gone up. The assistant over on the far side, Mick Madonna, had just risen his flag a little bit and then brought it down again, waiting to see for the VAR. Then Kane went through. Arrizabalaga came out and brought him down, and then Spurs were appealing for a penalty. The referee now consulting with the officials in Stockley Park, which is near Heathrow, to study the videotape and work out what came first, the chicken or the egg, or in this case the offside or the penalty.
This is why I'm not a great lover of the lines people flagging. It's tight, but I think he's offside from what I can see.
Well, we're just having a look at the VAR, checking the penalty now, and it looks like there's a little bit of advantage to Harry Kane, who then goes round the goalkeeper, and then there seems to be a foul from well, it's definitely a foul by Arrizabalaga. So was he offside in the build-up to that? That is the big question. If he's offside, there's no penalty. If he was onside, then Tottenham are getting a penalty kick here.
Yeah, without a doubt, and potentially a sending off. Or not?
Well, the double jeopardy rules would probably suggest that's not the case. There's the penalty. So he was onside, and it's a yellow card for Arrizabalaga, and Kepa Arrizabalaga has given away a penalty. He had a very difficult time in the previous game here between the two. He conceded from long range from Harry Kane, and now he's going to have to deal with a penalty. And I'm afraid, I don't think he can have too many problems. Chelsea will say they felt the flag went up, but the rules are you play to the whistle.
Yeah, it certainly do. They've checked it on VAR. On the still that I saw in front of me, I would almost call that offside, but you know, they know better. They've studied it, and the whole idea of VAR is to make it bomb-proof, and you can't get it wrong. So the only thing that I worry about is you could see the linesman stopping, holding his ground and letting play go on if someone is clearly offside. The potential for an injury, which, you know, we've just seen there.
Well, Harry Kane has grabbed the ball, as you would expect him to do. He has 6 goals in his last 5 games. He has 32 goals in 47 appearances in London derbies. Harry Kane, MBE, has been awarded the honour of taking this penalty away to our left. He puffs out his chest, he addresses the ball, he rifles it into the corner beyond the Rida Balaga at such velocity it was impossible to stop, and he shoots Spurs into the lead in the semi-final. It's 1-0.
Fantastic penalty, hard, low, whipped it across his body, absolutely no doubt at all. The goalkeeper was waiting for a potential drive down the middle of the goal. So if you don't go early, you've got no chance of stopping penalties of that ilk.
VAR controversy will be the headlines tomorrow, but in truth, the decision was correct. It was a penalty, and if he was onside, which obviously they have better monitors than we are. I mean, our monitor's 3 inches by 6, so we can't see clearly in the light of day. There's absolutely nothing else that Rida Balaga is going to do there apart from take out Harry Kane, and he has converted it, and then that, I think, is an example of it working.
Yeah, and as we were mentioning earlier, the fact of both teams are looking for players running in behind each other's defence. You think that Son's the one with pace, can run away from players, but if players like Harry Kane are prepared to run in behind, you get your goals in that manner.
20th goal of the season for Harry Kane, and Spurs lead in the semi-final by 1-0. A 2-legged semi-final, the second leg being played on Thursday the 24th of January, but Spurs have got the advantage. Conte trying to respond for Chelsea, who have the ball deep inside opposition territory. Cleared away by Sanchez, and it's guarded all the way back by Azpilicueta to the goalkeeper, who then will kick clear over towards the far side. It'll be interesting actually to hear from the Moose if he saw what was happening on the big screens during that VAR check, because we can't really see the big screens from where we are at the back of this bottom tier here. Moose, what could you see?
Well, they don't show the replay of it. All it had was VAR check in progress, checking penalty. So everybody knew in the stadium they were looking at the penalty incident. They didn't say for the offside. I've got to give Maurizio Sarri some credit here. He's not gone up and berated the 4th official, Kevin Friend. Whether he berates the officials afterwards, I'll find out in the tunnel.
Kane moving down the left-hand side. Stuart, just have a quick look at the VAR pictures that have just come on the screen again, as Harry Kane thinks he gets fouled down by the corner flag. The referee says no, he didn't. They were just showing the shading of the offside, just to prove that he was onside.
Well, on what I've seen, I think he's offside, but he can't be, but it is so close. It really is.
The ball is in the full-back position with Jorginho for Chelsea, trying to bring it clear. It comes out towards this near side, and there's going to be a yellow card here for Harry Winks, who was a little bit physical with Eden Hazard as he tried to escape.
Yeah, another one of my pet hates there, just flicking a leg out and stopping an attack. Lazy defending.
Is that trending on Twitter yet, by the way? Hashtag Pierce's pet hates. You've got to set that up. You don't know how to use Twitter though, do you?
No. But it's so cheap, you know. Hazard, yeah, he's gone away from him. There's this mentality in football, it's a good foul. It's not, it's a cheap foul.
It's a cheap booking.
Yes.
Here is Azpilicueta. Chelsea looking to respond to that concession of a penalty. 15 minutes to go in the first half here, and it's Chelsea who trail by 1-0 to Tottenham Hotspur, and Harry Kane, as usual. Free kick for Chelsea though, because there's a foul this time by Davinson Sanchez on Eden Hazard. And Harry Kane, as a result of that goes above Cliff Jones in the all-time Tottenham top scorers list. He's still got some way to go to catch Jimmy Greaves. It's 160 now for Harry Kane. Free kick then to Chelsea on this near side. Willian is going to take it. He raises his arms into the air to give a signal. Alonso spins round the back. The cross to him is perfect, and he brings the ball down, takes it to the byline, tries to get the cross in, but he went well out of play before he could do so, and it's a goal kick away to our right-hand side.
I think it's important for Chelsea, going back to the game where they really got ripped apart here, that they keep a solid mentality with a view that this is the first leg of a semi-final. Yeah, you're looking at the VAR, aren't you? And what is your thought process on that?
He's onside because Azpilicueta, now I thought when I first saw that picture that was a Tottenham shirt. It isn't. It's Azpilicueta on the right-hand side. It's a bit of a grainy image. Has got his foot further back than Harry Kane's foot.
Yeah, so you're suggesting it's just his foot that's playing him on, not the shirt?
No.
Yeah.
Because it's got to be with the part of the body that can score a goal. So I think the foot is further back, and that is playing Harry Kane onside. Yeah. But I do think that is something that players have got to get used to. The idea that if they think it's offside and they look at the linesman, he half sort of goes to raise his flag and then puts it back down again, which is seemingly was the problem here. They've still got to play on. They didn't do that. Either Balaga then came herring out of his goal, gave away the penalty, and it's 1-0 to Spurs after a little bit of a delay. Ball out on the right side. Sissoko trying to get beyond Barkley. They thought there was a foul there on Sissoko rather than Barkley, but Sissoko had used his body into the back of Barkley, and the free kick's given Chelsea's way. It's getting a little bit fractious, as we thought it might do at some stage over the course of the evening, with these two meeting in the semi-final, the prize being a game at Wembley. Are you an advocate of VAR?
No, I'm not a lover of it, to be honest with you. Strangely enough, it's in the pet hate column.
That goes under that hashtag as well.
Loosely.
The whole incident itself, from when Michael Oliver blew his whistle to when he awarded the penalty, was 1 minute and 33 seconds.
I think
it's all right, isn't it?
To get a decision right, that isn't a long period of time. I've seen substitutions take longer than that.
But back in the day, you'd have a period of several back passes that would take longer than that. Here is Ali trying to skip through the Chelsea defence. Winks picks it up and sends it out towards the far side, and now it's with Kieran Trippier. Sissoko takes it on beyond Willian and into the Chelsea half of the field. Son's coming towards him on the right side, tries to nudge it through to Ali, doesn't reach him. Conte gives it away, and it's picked up by Rose, and Kane's onto it on the edge of the penalty area. Now in the left wing position for Tottenham Hotspur, who lead 1-0. Back in field he goes, gives it to Harry Winks. Back down the left it goes to Danny Rose, through the legs of Azpilicueta. Space for Son now to exploit. He gets to the byline, tries to take on the defender Rudiger, who just, like a big bruiser, pushes him off the ball, shrugs him aside, nicks the ball away from him, and takes it clear for Chelsea.
Yeah, I'm not sure whether I'd class that as obstruction, but he certainly weren't getting out of Son's way and making it easy for him.
Hazard weaving his way through the midfield. Conte, instead of going forward, goes backwards, and that draws a sigh from Eden Hazard, who looks to the heavens, exchanges passes with Hudson-Odoi. Getting busy now, Eden Hazard. He knows he needs to get his team on the front foot. 1-0 Spurs lead here. Alonso takes it out of the sky, runs forward, gets to the edge of the penalty area, hands it on to Willian, who takes on Sissoko, comes infield, plays it centrally towards N'Golo Conte, who sizes up an effort from distance. Never really looked like troubling the goalkeeper, that one. He didn't have the sort of authority to kick that from that range, and it was always heading down the throat of Paulo Gazzaniga.
Yeah, this is why I don't like Chelsea playing without a recognised centre forward. I think Hazard comes back into deeper areas, he gets on the ball, and it's almost as though I need a wall pass. I need someone in the box now.
Giroud does that for him, and he likes playing with Giroud as a result of that. Here is Willian left side for Chelsea, moving towards the edge from Barkley. Barkley trying to shoot, blocked by Winks, takes a deflection. Trippier didn't give up the ghost, Willian did, and Trippier stops it from going for a corner, and now the ball's up towards the halfway line, and Ali's now helped it on towards Kane. There's a collision between Christensen and Son, which the Tottenham fans didn't quite like. But first of all, you've got to pay tribute to Kieran Trippier for having the energy and the awareness to try and keep that ball in. Chelsea have just lost it after Arida Balaga looked for Azpilicueta on this near side, and he's miscued his clearance. But Willian gave up.
I think he thought he was in an offside position, Sam, and decided not to chase it.
You're being kind again, aren't you?
No, I think I was spot on there, personally.
No, I mean, you're being kind to people again, like you were last night, when you're being nice.
Yeah, I had a kind night last night.
Yeah.
I have one a week.
Winks across to Alderweireld. He's 10-15 yards in front of the 18-yard box, and he sends it centrally to Davinson Sanchez. Back in field it goes to Eriksson.
There is no talk anymore about Spurs not being at home at Wembley, is there, would you say?
No.
It's their home now, you would say, certainly for the short period.
Well, for the next couple of weeks anyway. Here's Hudson-Odoi on halfway. Players falling all over the place, and Hudson-Odoi is trying to take advantage of that. Hazard, space for Willian out wide on the left-hand side, but he's trying to go centrally. It's half cleared by Sissoko, only as far as Barkley. Barkley's on the edge of the area. Down the left it goes to Willian. Chelsea on the attack here. Poor cross by Willian. Easily cut out by Spurs and back towards halfway. Kane takes over, nudges it into his own path, runs onto the ball. Jorginho with a tackle. Michael Oliver's letting a lot go here, and the fans not liking that too much as the ball's played on for Hazard to chase, but Alonso's ball's dreadful, and it floats behind rather tamely and out for a goal kick away to our right-hand side.
I think both sets of fans now are appealing for every interaction between each of the players.
Just keeps the atmosphere bubbling nicely,
fantastic.
doesn't it? It's good for us, good for the game. Chelsea behind to a penalty given by VAR. Chris Kavanagh, the VAR, awarding that penalty, which has put Spurs in the lead. Harry Kane with the goal. Dele Alli just came over to the near touchline to have a word with Maurizio Pochettino. Maybe it was the other way around, actually. Free kick has been given to Spurs. Rudiger Rudiger was having a word with the referee, but it was N'Golo Kanté who gave away the foul on Dele Alli. Free kick taken back into centre field, picked up by Davinson Sanchez, and then across to Alderweireld, who guides it back to his goalkeeper, who is Paolo Gazzaniga tonight. Maurizio Pochettino saying yesterday that Tottenham would win a trophy. Daniel Levy, he said, had laid the groundwork for unprecedented success in the future. He didn't know whether or not he'd be around to lift it, which was an interesting statement, one that we discussed prior to the match. And Stuart thinking in particular that it was well timed, coming as it did right at the start of the transfer window. Eriksson curling the ball up towards halfway, bounced out by Alonso in front of Son, and it's out for a throw-in on the halfway line. Here is Eriksson back to Davinson Sanchez, and then it's all the way back to his goalkeeper, and Tottenham just content to hold on to possession. Well, if anyone wanted to understand the rivalry between these two teams, they could watch a replay of the Battle of the Bridge back in April 2016. 12 yellow cards, 9 of them for Spurs. Spurs 2-0 up at half-time. John Terry saying in the dressing room at the break, "Not on my watch." And Hazard making it 2-2, robbing him the chance of winning the title. Dembele getting banned for 6 matches for eye gouging. It all went off. Here's Sissoko down the left from Kane's pass. He tried to pick out Eriksson. If he had done, Chelsea were in trouble. They hadn't watched the late run to the edge of the box by the Dane. Here's Hazard on halfway, trying to get Chelsea on the front foot, something they haven't really been able to do in the last 10 minutes. Odoi comes forward, tucks it back into the path of Conte, and Chelsea's attack slows again.
It has to slow down, because what the wide players want and what Hazard want is when you head towards goal, you want a little bump pass. You want someone to stand there and say, just give it to my feet.
Here is Azpilicueta looking to get the ball into the centre and towards Hazard. It was a cross which he could have met, but he ducked out the way of it because he didn't realise it was coming. Here is Hazard again, 10 yards back from the edge of the box. Willian down to Alonso, a chance to cross for the Spaniard into the near post, and N'Golo Kanté is there, and he wraps his foot around it and hits the outside of the post. Well, it was an excellent delivery into the near post by Alonso, and he just couldn't get enough of his body around the ball to angle it inside the post. He hit the outside of the woodwork.
Set up play, fantastic. Cross coming in the box from Alonso was brilliant, and the movement, he's had to get across Alderweireld to actually get contact on the ball, and that put him beyond the near post, and the angle become too tight.
Good chance for Chelsea, and Gazzaniga just watched that and breathed a sigh of relief as it hit the outside of the upright. and went behind and away for a goal kick. 5 minutes before half-time on Talk Sport in the semi-finals of the Carabao Cup, and it's Tottenham who lead by 1-0. Oh, Gazzaniga with a poor kick out. Chelsea don't make the most of it. Jorginho had it and then just couldn't find a simple pass forward. Barkley back to Alonso to Hazard. Willian back towards Conte, who's going to strike. No, he's not. He's going to go down the right to Hudson-Odoi, who's now into the penalty area. Gets onto his left foot, tries to whip it in towards the far post with his left foot. Not enough bend and curl on it. It was just a little bit too high.
Yeah, he's received a great deal of the ball this evening, Hudson-Odoi. Done all the right things there, dragged it inside Rosie, and then just looked for that top corner, but just didn't put enough bend on it.
He did well to actually make the space for the shot. I think Danny Rose was anticipating him going down the line, and because he cut back in on his left foot, there was a bit more room for him.
Well, the shooting opportunity was on. He done exactly what he should be doing in that situation, but obviously got his technique wrong.
Well, Chelsea again failing to trouble Gazzaniga. And when you think that they've had 8 attempts, but only 3 of them have been on target, Tottenham have only had 2 attempts, and they've both been on target. And one of those was the penalty. Alderweireld gets it back to Gazzaniga. Tottenham lead. Quite an even game, really, but the penalty has tipped it in Tottenham's favour.
I think the difference being the fact that Chelsea just not playing with that centre forward that limits their real cutting edge, because a lot of the efforts they've had have been deep range shots, haven't they? Yeah. More so than either getting to the touchline and getting the ball in for someone to get on the end of it, or alternatively having a bump pass off a centre forward.
1-0 Spurs. Here's Eden Hazard, midway inside Tottenham territory. Out to Callum Hudson-Odoi, then on to N'Golo Conte. He switches the ball out towards the far side. Alonso's got room to manoeuvre. He produces a cross into the box, but it's headed away by Alderweireld, picked up by Hudson-Odoi, and then it took a little nick off the retreating Eriksen, and then into the air it went, and because it went high, it gave Gazzaniga the chance to run and clutch it, and he brings it out towards the near side. It is 1-0. The Spurs have won the last 2 against Chelsea. They haven't won 3 in a row against them since the 60s. And they're on course to do that tonight. Here on the left side is Willian, who moves towards the angle of the box, but when he plays it down the left side, both Hazard and Alonso were not there, and he gave the ball away. And Christensen's got himself in a tangle here with Son, not for the first time. He's now going over to have a word with Michael Oliver, needs to get back into position quickly. Had a lot of football last season, Christensen, then disappeared off the radar, didn't he, for 6 months or so.
Yeah, he's certainly outstanding this summer, wasn't he, at the World Cup?
In that Danish team that almost knocked Croatia out. They ended up going to penalties in their last 16 game. It was in Nizhny Novgorod, I think it was. I was there that day. Kasper Schmeichel was in good form. Spurs have been in good form recently as well, and they're on course for another victory tonight. They lead by 1-0. Here's Danny Rose, left side of the Tottenham defence, up to halfway, where he finds Eriksen, who just teases the ball down the touchline, looking to find Son, who turned, but Rudiger, the German international of some standing, read that quite beautifully and just nicked it back to Arrizabalaga. Here is Azpilicueta. Chelsea in a tight area in the right full-back zone, trying to bring the ball out from the back. Callum Hudson-Odoi thought he'd kept it in. He was sent a rather ambitious pass from Conte, and the officials saying it went out for a throw.
Yeah, good pressing there by Tottenham. Got 4 or 5 players over, swamped the area, and made it increasingly more difficult for Chelsea to play out and force the error eventually.
Well, I think most people would say that Tottenham are further down the line than Chelsea. I know only 4 points separate them in the Premier League table, but they're more advanced in their planning, preparation and schooling than the new outfit from Maurizio Sarri, who only took over in the summer. In fact, right at the very end of the pre-season. I think the 13th of July he came in.
Yeah, I know every coach wants to come in, have a real tilt on the transfers in and out, and obviously have a solid pre-season behind the team to get to know the players.
Of course, there are going to be vacancies at this time of the year, and there will be 1 or 2 managers who start thinking about getting back into work. And they won't have a pre-season. They might get some activity in the transfer market because the window is open. Chelsea rumoured to be doing a bit of business. 2 minutes of added time at the end of the first 45. 1-0 to Tottenham Hotspur. Maurizio Pochettino saying that tactics secondary in this match. Mentality, approach, determination would ensure the person who applied themselves the best would go through in this semi-final of 2 legs. It's going to be a battle. I think this one is going to be tight between these two right to the very end of the match in Stamford Bridge in 2 weeks' time. Here is Hudson-Odoi being picked out by Alonso. He goes towards the edge of the area, plays it into Conte, wanted the ball back. Again, the ball from Conte, not great to Hudson-Odoi. It breaks down, Tottenham clear, and Ali runs on. Rudiger comes across very quickly, clears, goes out on this near side away for a throw. That bump pass that they were looking for there was Hudson-Odoi into Conte, and he wanted it back again.
Yeah.
It just didn't fizz back into his feet, did it?
Yeah. What you need to set yourself as a good centre forward and say, right, I'm going to hold the ball and wait for your run, or alternatively set it off first time. There's no one thing you should do all the time. It depends how tight the individual is next to you. When the passer of the ball wants the ball back, and it's just understanding that. But more often than not, Chelsea haven't had a player in the box to receive.
Hazard finding Hudson-Odoi, a little deflection, it comes off the post, and somehow Gazzaniga just about got enough on it to stop it from going in. That was almost a certain leveller. The cross from the right-hand side from Hudson-Odoi took a wicked deflection. It was looping over the goalkeeper, but he reacted. Another cross into the box, headed away by Danny Rose. Goes out for a throw-in over on the far side. That was a chance for Chelsea.
Oh, it's a fantastic chance. I'm not sure whether it got a deflection or not. I think he's got his cross wrong. Love to see the replay of that. But you've got to say, fantastic goalkeeping.
Well, the ball went out to the right side by Hazard. It was taken on by Hudson-Odoi. It did take a little deflection, I think, off Danny Rose. That sent it spiralling into the air. It went over the top, or looked like it was going over the top of Gazzaniga and into the net, and he just about got a fingertip on it to put it onto the post. That's the last action of the first half, a first half in which VAR has played a crucial role. It handed a penalty to Harry Kane. He stepped forward, converted it, and Spurs, as a result, have taken another step down the road to Wembley. At the break, it's Tottenham 1, Chelsea 0.
Well, that was a good save. Sam Matterface and Stuart Pearce with the first half here at Wembley. Tomorrow night it's Manchester City, the Etihad, and we're all there again. And it's Burton, of course, and Nigel Clough's side, the visitors. So don't miss a moment of that tomorrow night with us here on TalkSport. TalkSport 2 right now, it's that North East derby, Newcastle United's under-21 side in the Checker trade against Sunderland. No goals to tell you about there so far. And just thinking of TalkSport 2, Friday night, Leeds against Derby in the Championship with Jim Proudfoot and Simon Grayson. And on Saturday, the brilliant Matchday Live as always, and Leicester City against Southampton in the Premier League on TalkSport 2. Danson Perry Groves with Russ Williams in the chair. And then on Monday night, Manchester City against Wolves. We're back at the Etihad for Premier League action. I'll be alongside Jim Proudfoot and Ray Houghton as well. Do you think, Stuart, just one thing about Chelsea, it's all a bit obvious up front? There isn't, if Spurs get it right defensively at the back, Kante did magnificently well to get up there, but they haven't really got quite enough for me at this level up front.
Sags, I equate it to having a jigsaw, and you get the jigsaw all out, you lay it out on your coffee table, and there's a piece missing. That piece is a centre forward, and I think he knits all this good play together, because on territory, Chelsea have probably had slightly more territory. They've got the ball into wide areas, especially on the right hand side here to Hudson-Odoi. But players like him and like Hazard, they need a foil to play off of, someone that might not get on the end of things to score, but is there for a little pass around the corner or to occupy defenders at times.
Perfect. And technically both sides really great, but at times, the out ball for Chelsea isn't easy, is it?
No, it isn't, because of the stature of their team. It's not like if you're under pressure in Tottenham's back line, you can put a decent ball up. Harry Kane will fight for it. Dele Alli will fight for it. If it goes beyond them and goes in behind, Son, is going to show an element of pace. Chelsea haven't got any physical presence in regard to anything sort of above above head height, if you like, and that holds them back slightly.
I think Spurs as well going forward will think that perhaps it hasn't quite run for them in front of goal, but they'll be a little disappointed that they're only one up, from a penalty.
Yeah, they will. They've been quite comfortable in the game. I think both teams, I don't think there's a great deal between the teams, if I'm being honest with you, but Tottenham have got a little bit more cohesion, I would say, in the right players. Their jigsaw's complete. It's just getting the passes together. Chelsea, I think, are just short of a man in the box all the time.
Yeah, I mean, it's the big difference between somebody staying in a hotel they know well and somebody who don't know how far to turn the shower red to hot or cold. I mean, as far as Chelsea are concerned, they all know each other's movements and where they're going to be, don't they? And I think that Spurs have really shown Chelsea how to do that.
Yeah, and I think the mentality that Chelsea is going to have to show in the second half, that if Tottenham get a 2-0 lead or more to take to Stamford Bridge in a couple of weeks, I think that could be too much. That could suit Tottenham. They've got to make sure that they're in this game in the second leg. It's the first leg of a semi-final.
VAR does the stuff whether we agree with it or not at times, and it was just a lot of doubt about it, because still they haven't quite found the way to make it happen in front of the live crowd of the game. It's
not become second nature in our game at the moment. There's still doubts in all of our minds, and I'm probably the biggest doubter of most, I must say. But listen, they've got the decision right. It was a very, very marginal call, but the linesman would have flagged offside, which he did. VAR corrected it. We saw a goal on the back of it. That probably tells you that it's worth having.
Well, from that point of view, it absolutely is worth having. What it has meant is that it's Spurs who go in front against Chelsea at half-time, thanks to a magnificent penalty from Harry Kane.
Back out wide to Trippier. His cross is in towards Harry Kane with an overhead kick, but it's grasped by Kepa Arrizabalaga. Kane goes through into the penalty area. Now the referee, I think, is going to consult with the VAR here, because the ball's gone over the top and Kane's gone down. Well, it's definitely a foul by Arrizabalaga. So was he offside in the build-up to that? That is the big question. If he's offside, there's no penalty. If he was onside, then Tottenham are getting a penalty kick here. There's the penalty. So he was onside, and it's a yellow card for Arrizabalaga, and Kepa Arrizabalaga has given away a penalty. Well, Harry Kane has grabbed the ball, as you would expect him to do. He has 6 goals in his last 5 games. He has 32 goals in 47 appearances in London derbies. Harry Kane, MBE, has been awarded the honour of taking this penalty away to our left. He puffs out his chest, he addresses the ball, he rifles it into the corner beyond Arrizabalaga at such velocity it was impossible to stop, and he shoots Spurs into the lead in the semi-final. It's 1-0. Down to Alonso, a chance to cross for the Spaniard into the near post, and N'Golo Conte is there, and he wraps his foot around it and hits the outside of the post. Finding Hudson-Odoi, a little deflection, it comes off the post, and somehow Gazzaniga just about got enough on it to stop it from going in.
Jim White on TalkSport with Wicks.
Let's do it right.
Free-thinking football talk from an independent spirit.
Join me, Jim White, for a mid-morning travelogue of hard-hitting comment, discursive debate, colourful chat, and a galaxy of big-name guests.
You're all right. It's Jim White.
It's not where you're from, it's where you're at.
Jim White, tomorrow morning from 10 on TalkSport with Wicks.
Let's do it right.
Difference, daring. It's unexpected. So if you're ready to leave what you know behind, you'll be surprised where different takes you.
The new, powerful and efficient Honda Civic Sportline. 0% APR and £1,000 off when you book a test drive. Offer ends January 31st. Honda dealers are credit brokers, not lenders. Finance provided by Honda Financial Services. Authorized and regulated by the Financial Conduct Authority. Credit subject to status for over 18s only. Terms and conditions apply. Visit honda.co.uk for more details.
All alone at the back post. Keeper's nowhere. Surely? No! It was an absolute sitter and he's put it wide.
Some opportunities you can't miss. Like a chance to try your bet with ComeOn.com. Build your own same-game multi-bet with cards, corners, scorers, scorelines and more.
Use your head!
ComeOn.com. Bet £10, get a £10 free bet. 18 plus, BeGambleAware.org. Bet responsibly at ComeOn.com. New UK mainland customers only. Minimum £10 bet on odds of 1.8 or more qualifies for £10 free bet. Terms apply.
You don't mind if it's a national event or a minority sport. You'll watch it anyway. Ball or racket, racing or fighting, you love the competition, the dedication, taking sides and picking winners, and just sometimes losers. And when you open your screen, it's always on Yahoo Sport. Breaking news, the football show, score alerts, stats, NFL highlights, interviews, insights, Steve Bunce's podcast. And it's all in one place where fans come first. Yahoo Sport.
What will happen when the UK leaves the EU? Do I need to renew my passport earlier than planned?
I'm an EU citizen living in the UK. How will this affect me?
Will mobile roaming change? How will exporting my goods be affected?
You might also have questions about how leaving the EU on the 29th of March will affect you. Find guidance and up-to-date information at gov.uk/EU exit.
And that's it!
Never miss a goal.
It's into the bottom corner!
Kick-off, League Cup Special with Mark Saggers.
And it's in again!
On Talk Sport.
Spurs leading in this first leg of the semi-final of the Carabao Cup at Wembley against Chelsea by a 0-0. Harry Kane with the penalty after a little bit of work from VAR for the first time this evening. And when it's all over, plenty of work for you with Andy Goldstein and Perry Groves in the Sports Bar tonight. 08717 223344. Andy, good evening.
Saggers, good evening to you. How are you?
I'm very well indeed, actually. Look, I'm enjoying this one so far.
Do you know what? I really enjoyed that first half, and all credit has to go to Michael Oliver. I think he handled that VAR decision absolutely perfectly. I still can't understand why players in this situation, Chelsea players, surrounded the ref after her decision had been made. I mean, what are you arguing with? You're arguing with a group of people that sat in a room that have watched it multiple times from multiple angles, that have got the decision right, get on with the game. It annoys me. And also, on social media, Chelsea fans are tweeting me saying, the linesman's flag went up. And it's like, well, I was always taught, I'm sure Stuart was as well at school, and you, Saggers, you play to the referee's whistle.
Well, they know all of that, don't they? And it's sort of, he did a sort of half up down, didn't he? The assistant.
But I thought the whole thing was handled absolutely perfectly. I agree with Stuart when he was saying the one thing missing from Chelsea is Giroud up front. They just, players like William, especially William, who's been non-existent in the first half, Hazard as well, they look a little bit lost without that big target man.
They look light, don't they?
Yeah.
I think they look light up front.
Yeah, they do. Having said all that, I still think Tottenham need one more goal to take to the bridge.
I think that's a really good point you make as well. What else you got for us tonight?
Yes, so of course the first hour we'll be taking calls on everything and anything that you're hearing live on Talk Sport. We're on air at 10 with Perry Groves alongside myself. We've got the Ralph Ellis back pages tomorrow's tonight. We've got all the European football roundup, transfer gossip with Kevin Atchard. We've got the Midnight Train to Madness. We've got boxing chat with Dan Raphael. We're also on a night like tonight, we have gadget chat. And we've got Perry's views on Paul Merson's comments in the press over the last 24 hours saying that Arsenal are about 20 years away from winning a league title. So we've got lots and lots to get through. But we'll begin, myself and Perry Groves, from 10 p.m. right after the final whistle at Wembley with your calls 08717 223344 on, of course, this Carabao Cup semi-final first leg.
Excellent, Andy Goldstein and Perry then with you as always from 10 o'clock tonight. Looking forward to that. Stuart Pearce alongside me here now. Second half, I think we're probably going to see much more of the same, really, aren't we?
Yeah, I don't see much changing. I think the one thing's changed since the game where Dele Alli was around Jorginho. I don't think Chelsea have tried to utilise Jorginho as much, playing through him. What they've done is get it out wide into the wide areas. That's why the likes of Hudson-Odoi and Willian have received a fair amount of the ball. But they've got to make sure that they deliver and, create from those areas.
As far as Spurs are concerned here with Harry Kane, you just sort of, every time I watch him play, particularly live, you see more of him and more of that terrific work that he does.
Yeah, listen, he's a man out on that football pitch. You know full well when he makes the correct decisions, which I like about him. If the ball needs holding up, he'll hold it up. If it needs setting off first time, he does that. If he needs to buy a foul to break the tempo of the game, he'll do that. He knows exactly the right things to do at the right time of the game, and you know, that you probably can't coach. It just comes naturally.
Why they probably need 2 goals as well. I mean, if you think about it, the 2 chances that Chelsea had, the first one, Kane did well to get in. That was good. If that had just gone in, the keeper wasn't getting it, but he made a terrific save with that deflection at the end.
He did. As I say, there's been 2 efforts from Chelsea that were really unfortunate. They've hit the woodwork twice, whilst I think maybe I don't know, it's difficult to quantify whether Spurs deserve their lead or not. You know, there's not been much in the game. Territorially, I can remember Chelsea being sort of up Tottenham's end of the pitch for the majority, but there's a lot of football to be played, and it's whoever takes those chances, Zags. But I think a 2-0 advantage to Tottenham to take to the second leg will be too much.
It's quite interesting here when you look at the stats at half-time. 50-50 on the ball possession, fair enough. Goal attempts, 8 for Chelsea and just 2 for Spurs. Shots off goal, 4 as well. Block shots, 1 for Chelsea, none for either of Spurs on that. Free kicks each and just the 1 corner kick so far. So, yeah, Chelsea will perhaps feel that they should have had something out of it. But I still think it goes back to that first thing that we talked about. You really need, in this sort of game, for all of your technical ability and all that you are, somebody up front who can just drag the defence one way or the other, and they haven't been able to do that.
No, and whenever you get in the final third of the pitch and you're attacking the opposition, if you've got no centre forward or no individual in the box occupying central defenders, it makes their job so much easier. They know that all they've got to worry about is a shot from 30 yards and getting their angles right. If you've got a centre forward operating between the 2 central defenders, it just might occupy them enough for somebody else to get in.
Well, 45 minutes to go here, and then we're only at half-time in this Carabao Cup semi-final. The first one, of course, between Spurs and Chelsea. Tomorrow night we've got another magnificent one for you as well. Very different with Manchester City up against Nigel Clough's Burton. Everything's different except our team, and that's Stuart Pearce and your match commentator Sam Matterface.
Thanks very much, Sags. Harry Kane is the first player in Tottenham's history to score 20 goals in all competitions in 5 successive seasons, thanks to that penalty that he converted in the first half here at Wembley. Spurs have scored 6 of their last 7 goals in the second half. In fact, 6 of the 7 goals they scored at Tranmere were scored in the second half, which is not a great omen for Chelsea. The first legs tend to be cagey affairs, aside from Manchester City's 6-0 win against West Ham in 2014. No semi-final first leg in the Carabao Cup has featured more than 3 goals in the last 11 games. Indeed, the first leg scorelines in the last 5 matches, including Premier League clubs, have been 0-0, 1-0, 2-1, 0-1 and 1-1. Chelsea will be desperate to get on the score sheet tonight. No changes at half-time. We're underway. Chelsea in royal blue, shooting from right to left. They've given the ball away to Kane, and now Dele Alli is going through the middle. Tackle from Rudiger. He sticks out the long left leg and pokes it away from Ali and out of play for a corner kick. But that was a mistake by Barkley.
It was poor pass from Barkley, put Tottenham on the attack. And just looking at Rudiger's tackle there, he sort of launched himself both feet off the ground. And I'll tell you what,
Well, he got the ball and didn't go anywhere near the man, which I think saved him, really. The corner's come in, it's been headed straight at Athreetha Balaga, and Chelsea are now trying to come forward with Barkley out towards the right and have Pilikawaita. What have Chelsea got to do in the second half to get more on the front foot? I mean, I feel like it's a bit wrong to ask you that, because I know you're going to say to me, bring on a centre forward.
I think they've got on the front foot. I think the game's been, the possession suggests it's 50-50.
Yeah.
I think territorially, I think Chelsea have probably had slightly more of the territory, to my mind's eye. They just need a little bit more cohesion in the front area, and I can't keep on about the fact they've not got a centre forward up there, and Hazard just drops back, which comes naturally to him, and they just need someone just to tie things together.
I mentioned to Adrian Durham on Drive Time earlier on that it didn't seem much point in having Tammy Abraham out on loan at Aston Villa, scoring 16 goals in 20 games. And when Chelsea needed goals, it doesn't matter whether or not you think he can do it in the Premier League. He's not going to score any less goals than Morata and Giroud at the moment, is he?
No, you're right, he isn't. It's just a general all-round play, but at this moment in time, Sarri believes that the personnel he's got out there, in all honesty, he probably doesn't trust the two centre-forwards he's got at his club at the moment. He's got a youngster out on loan, so between the three of them, he doesn't trust...
And Batshuayi out on loan as well, he doesn't fancy.
Well, exactly, I've forgotten all about him as well, so... The one thing Chelsea need, they need to go in the transfer market and get a centre-forward of the like of Costa that knits everything together.
Chelsea about to take a free kick, which has been given because of a foul on Eden Hazard. It's 7 yards in front of the centre circle. Willian has chipped it into the box. He's looking for Hudson-Odoi, and it almost found him because it went over the top of the wall and dropped towards the right edge of the box. It was a late run by Callum Hudson-Odoi, but he just seemed to back out of it at the last minute. I don't know whether it was too difficult for him to latch onto. Good touch by Trippier. Plays Sissoko in on the right side. It's a poor ball back by Sissoko, sorry, and he's given it straight to Conte, who's found Hudson-Odoi. He tried to flip it back in field, looking for Conte, and it's back with Alderweireld and all the way back to Gazzaniga. Tell me that's that free kick.
Yeah, there wasn't too much. Whether he was offside or not, who knows? Obviously, VAR would have decided that if he put the ball in the back of the net. I think he was potentially just offside.
Just seemed to sort of pull out of it at the last minute, didn't he?
He did, yeah. I don't know whether he thought that the ball was just too far away from himself to make an effort at it.
It is the Tottenham fans you can hear singing behind us here in the commentary box at Wembley. We're at the back of the lower tier, just right at the halfway line. Spurs away to our left, just trying to knit some passes together to get out from the back. It is their 15th appearance in the League Cup semi-finals. They have progressed on 8 previous occasions, and they're in the lead here thanks to Harry Kane's penalty. 4 minutes gone, second half. Ball travels up the field, or either Balaga then has it at his feet, and Alonso rather tamely plays it down the left to Willian, who doesn't look as comfortable on that side as he does on the other. Infield it goes to Jorginho. Chelsea wait and then come back to Willian again. Willian sends it square. Now on to N'Golo Kanté, who runs forward down the right. There's space out in the wing position for Callum Hudson-Odoi, who receives it, runs into the box, chops it back towards Hazard, who tries to flick it up and get a shot away. He takes the ball wide, then tries to chip it towards Barkley at the far post. Trippier was watching it all the way, got in front of the England man and glided it out and away for a corner kick to Chelsea.
Yeah, good set-up play there by Chelsea, but once Hazard comes out from that central berth...
There's a vacuum, isn't there?
Yeah, there is. It's a numbers game then, and you're looking at the Chelsea back line of 4 against one... the Tottenham back line of 4 against
Williams
one.
Corner in towards the near post. Rudiger goes throwing himself towards it, and it went just over his head and was caught by Gazzaniga. Looked like there might have been a little push in the back there from Dele Alli on Antonio Rudiger. Olivier Giroud, that centre forward that you'd like to see on. 20 goals in 78 Premier League games as a substitute. He's sitting on the bench.
Yeah, I don't necessarily think he's the answer in the long term for Chelsea, but the one thing I would say is I think it'll be a breath of fresh air to the likes of Hazard if he did come on.
Here is Eriksen taking the ball on halfway, trying to nudge it down the left for Danny Rose. Cut out and given to Barkley. Barkley turning the ball amongst his toes, trying to send it forward, but he took too long to get his pass away, by which time he'd hit Ali and the ball had ricocheted into Tottenham possession. Kane has it now, turning the ball onto Heung-min Son. It was a good intelligent ball out from Harry Kane. Up to Sissoko, onto Ali, back into Kane. Kane trying to rifle a shot from distance, and Arena Balaga has to save it. Moving away to his right, it stung the palm so much that when he bounced back to his feet, he shook his right hand. It was aching with the power of the shot from Harry Kane. Corner.
Great set-up play there by Tottenham. Harry Kane takes one touch on his left foot, sets it up, minimal backlift, unloads a shot. Great effort.
Great effort and a very good save by Rida Balaga, whose hand came up above his head to stop it. Corner into the near post, Winks with a header. He hit the back of his head and runs out towards the near side, the right. Taken on by Kane. Kane shuffles it back to Son, who takes it on in one movement, runs down the right side. Azpilicueta just about did enough to nudge him off the ball, and the goal kick is given to Chelsea. 7 minutes played, second half.
Yeah, clever play there by Son. As the Chelsea back line were coming out, he darted in the opposite direction, and good play by Big Dave, as they call him at Chelsea.
They did used to call him Dave. They had to change it. Do you know why?
There was another Dave there.
The coach driver's called Dave.
They are.
So it's Afpi now. That's the nickname.
Aspi.
There's in Azpilicueta. Here is Callum Hudson-Odoi on the right side, sending the ball infield. It finds Willian, who runs towards the edge of the area, exchanges passes with Hazard, who chops it onto his right foot. Down the middle of the goal it goes, and it's an easy save for Gazzaniga in the end.
He's been pretty assured, hasn't he, Gazzaniga? What age is he, do you know?
26?
26, yeah.
He's been the cup keeper for a little while. He leapfrogged Michel Vorm earlier in the season in a game that we did, I think, down at Brighton. Ball drifted by Spurs towards the edge of the penalty area. It's headed away by Christensen ahead of Kane. Picked up in centre field by Azpilicueta. Then on to Ross Barkley. And then out wide to Willian. Willian now moving down the left, finding Alonso. Alonso cuts infield, plays it on to Willian. And then it's on to Hazard, who's in that left wing position. Back into Willian once more. He chops it onto his right foot, moves centrally, lays it on to N'Golo Kanté. Room to get a shot away. Does get a shot away. Beaten away by Gazzaniga, who's diving away to his left. But again, it's another shot from Chelsea, from range, from outside the box, that was always going to test Gazzaniga, but never going to extend him to the full.
It's amazing when Kanté gets the ball. He's in a great shooting position. He winds his foot back behind his neck and still doesn't generate a great deal of power, does he? You never fancy him to waz one in the top corner.
Yeah, and even that's not that far. Here is Hazard on to Alonso. Alonso again plays the ball infield to Barkley. 10 minutes gone in the second 45. It's Chelsea who are on the attack, but they're trailing by a goal to nil in the semi-final of the Carabao Cup. A VAR awarded penalty. Harry Kane taking it and dispatching it beautifully. Here is Alonso.
You would say if Chelsea are going to get a goal, it's going to come from someone unloading a shot from about 25 yards at this moment.
That's all they've really done, isn't it?
Yeah.
Here is Hudson-Odoi coming down the right-hand side, trying to trick his way into the box, produces a cross towards the far post. Trippier nudges it down back into the goalkeeper's arms. It was well worked by Hudson-Odoi, but the problem is that sort of ball is aimed for someone like Morata or Giroud, and they're not here.
Yeah, when the ball comes in the box, you want a minimum of probably 3 players bearing down in on the goal, and Chelsea rarely have had that.
Chelsea have had the better of this second half, by the way. They've dominated the ball. They've been inside Tottenham territory more than Tottenham have been in the opponent's half. But when Tottenham come forward, you think they've got a threat. When Chelsea go forward, you can't see that same level of panic amongst the defence.
Yeah, and that probably sums up the way the game's going at present.
It is 1-0 to Spurs. Alonso across the halfway line. Chesting it down is Azpilicueta. Further on now to Callum Hudson-Odoi, still hugging that touchline, running at Rose and at Eriksson. Barkley is available. He has to go back because there's no one to play it forward to. There were 5 white shirts in front of him. He'll start again, Hudson-Odoi. Then find Hazard. Hazard runs centrally. He's being tracked by Ali. He sends it wide. Oh, that's a good ball. A chance to open it up. A low ball into the box. It might fall to Hudson-Odoi. Did well to deal with it after a ricochet. Gets it back to Azpilicueta. A second cross is coming in now. It hits the arm of Danny Rose, does it, on the edge of the penalty area, and then it goes out towards the far side and Tottenham clear. But certainly Rose's hand came across into the middle of his body there to try and stop that, because it looks as if it was heading towards his crown jewels.
Yeah, it certainly hit his hand. I don't know how much it was ball to hand.
I don't think it would have been a penalty, though, because I think he was outside the area.
There weren't much in it. Just is probably the word on that one.
Well, the VAR would be looking at it right now. The ball is out on the left-hand side. Chelsea have had 66% of the ball in the second half. Shows you how dominant they have been since we restarted proceedings. Willian onto Conte, looking to try and bring Azpilicueta into play. They've got an overload on the right side here, Chelsea. Hudson-Odoi is joining up. Low fizz ball into the box, which is blocked by the first man, Rose. And it's nudged out for a throw-in over on the far side.
Yeah, they've just not found a free player when they've had so much possession, especially this second half. They're probing, they're 20, 25 yards out, but they just can't find a breakthrough, a pass or an opening for a clear shot.
Hazard's effort from the right edge of the area has taken a deflection and gone over the top, and it's gone away for another corner to Chelsea, who trail by a goal to nil. You get the sense, though, that this is Chelsea's best spell of the game, and they've got to make it count.
Yeah, clearly in possession terms, in territory terms, it's their best phase of the game. But as you and I know, they've got to put the ball in the net.
Ball in towards the near post. Barkley with a header, comes back to Christensen, who's missed, unmarked at the far post from 6 yards out. Barkley's header onto the far post. Christensen was there. He should have scored his first goal for Chelsea.
Yep, he's gone at it with his wrong foot. He should be coming. He's lost his man at the far post really well, flicked on, and he's, well, outside of the right foot he's gone at it with, when it was so clear anything on his left foot goes back across the goalkeeper and in the back of the net. That could be costly.
It's a big chance for Chelsea, straight on the hour mark, and I wonder what the reaction was down on the bench. Here's the Moose.
Well, Maurizio Sarri is not happy at the moment because he also thought he should have a free kick, by the way, for that handball against Danny Rose. Came straight across to Kevin Friend, gave the VAR sign, the sign for the TV camera. And by the way, he's been warming up Pedro for the entire period of the second half. I wonder if we will see the Spaniard very soon. In fact, we are. He's just getting stripped in front of me.
OK, thank you very much. There's no point in Maurizio Sarri doing a VAR sign for a free kick, because obviously the VAR cannot arbitrate in that sort of situation, only for penalties, goals, red cards in cases of mistaken identity. No mistake about the identity of the man who's just fouled Eden Hazard. From behind, Davinson Sanchez going right in between his legs to try and win the ball, and as a result picking up a yellow card. And the Colombian, now one of two Spurs players to find their way into the referee's notebook. Here's Jorginho trying to find Barkley. Sissoko's robbed him of possession. Christensen's come across and just about got the ball clear. He's hurt himself in the process. Chelsea are continuing. Christensen's down inside his own half as Hudson-Odoi starts to race forward. He tries to nudge into the path of Hazard. He can't do so. It deflects off Alderweireld and goes out to the right side. Now it's with Eden Hazard again. Into Hudson-Odoi, and he's missed it. And it goes back through Alderweireld to Gazzaniga, who decides to chip Hudson-Odoi. Goes into Alderweireld's chest. He volleys it clear, but straight to a Chelsea player. I don't think Alderweireld was happy with the delivery from Gazzaniga. Back to Willian, onto Conte. He moves down the right. Now Hudson-Odoi running again with purpose towards the edge of the box. He finds Willian this time, but Willian's ball is not accurate, and it's cleared away by Rose and up to halfway. Spurs 1, Chelsea 0, but Chelsea just starting to put the pressure on Tottenham Hotspur.
Yeah, I think for these first 15 minutes of this half, it's been permanently Chelsea. They've fashioned one reasonable effort, you would say, from Christensen.
Ball forward by Christensen, trying to find Conte, who's the deep runner from midfield. I just never feel that he's going to be able to fulfil that role as well as somebody else whose position that really is.
No, he's so genuine in his endeavours, Kante, but you're right in what you're saying. He's a world-class holding midfield player and a reasonable advanced midfield player.
It was a great chance for Chelsea to get the ball forward to Willian and made a good run. They didn't do so. Hazard's taken over instead. He's trying to dice his way through the back line of Tottenham. He's unleashed the shot, took a deflection, goes out, and it's out for a corner kick which has been given. Tottenham aren't happy about it. Hazard is. Chelsea are going to make the change, and here's Ian Abrahams.
Well, Pedro's not very happy about it because he's not coming on right at the moment. It looks like Maurizio Sarri will wait till after this corner.
Okay. Chelsea fans are the ones you can hear over on the far side now as Willian prepares to take this corner. There's a knot of 4 Chelsea blue shirts inside the box to aim at. It's aimed in towards Rudiger. Comes out only as far as Christensen. Didn't reach it. Good header away that by Spurs. Picked up by Jorginho. Goes back to the centre circle. And Spurs are rushing Chelsea, but Chelsea have kept hold of the ball and turned Barkley down into the corner of the pitch thanks to Jorginho's vision. And then across comes Sissoko, puts it out and away for a throw. Now he will have that change, Ian.
Coming on and Willian off. So Willian, who only just made this game, obviously coming back from injury, goes off. And Pedro, likewise, not rushed back, but back quicker than we all thought, comes on for the last, 28 minutes.
Spurs have been 1-0 up here at Wembley and conceded second half goals to lose a match already this season. In fact, it wasn't too far in the distant past. Wolverhampton Wanderers came here in the second half, attacked and ended up winning the game 3-1 after being 1-0 down. Chelsea will hope to turn this one around as well, but at the moment they trail. Pedro on instead of Willian. And that's an interesting one. It means that Callum Hudson-Odoi has come out towards this left-hand side to try his chances now.
Yeah, I think whichever way it is, that they'll see plenty of the ball, the wide players for Chelsea, but they've got to turn this this possession, this territory. I mean, we're looking, the ball has spent 3% of the time in Chelsea's last third this half. Incredible. And this doesn't look good for Spurs, by the way,
because Harry Kane has just gone down off the ball, and that will concern Mauricio Pochettino. Heung-min Son has come out to speak to his manager. Harry Kane has gone down, I think it's his left calf or left knee, which is the problem. Eden Hazard has gone over to have a word with Harry Kane, check he's okay. Harry Kane at the moment is receiving treatment as a result.
I think it's a calf problem. I'm no lip reader, but I thought I saw.
It's one of those you wouldn't take a chance with. Is it? If you're Harry Kane and you've got, if you're Tottenham Hotspur, he is your rich source of goals. I know Son's done very well, but Son's going to the Asian Cup, and they don't want to take any risks with a player like Harry Kane at this stage of the season when they know what's to come.
Look, if you're injured and your calf's gone, you're only going to do it more damage by staying on the pitch. He'll know what level it is. No, he's got the thumbs up. He's okay, dude. Just in the physio there.
We'll see how long that thumb stays up for. It looks as if he's going to come back on after going off the pitch, though. And that's good news for Gareth Southgate, who is here, by the way. I didn't notice whether or not he was wearing that cap, though, that you were talking about. I don't think he was.
No cap tonight.
No cap tonight. Maybe he thought, he looked at himself in the mirror and not sure about that.
Maybe those friendly words of advice in a car park in Wolverhampton done the trick.
He's already had enough caps here anyway. Here is Eriksen out on the left-hand side. That was Sag's joke, not mine. He takes the ball towards the corner flag and tries to get away from Azpilicueta. Tottenham on the attack here. Dele Alli trying to bear down on that little knot on the far touchline, but Rudiger has brought the ball away and then hit it straight at Son, and they were in danger of giving the ball away before Azpilicueta decided just to smash it as far away from the Chelsea goal as possible. Picked up by Harry Winks on halfway. Pedro tries to win it back for Chelsea. Danny Rose is running backwards and finds Davinson Sanchez. And the Tottenham crowd turn the noise up once again. 21 minutes played in the second half. Tottenham 1, Chelsea 0. You are listening to Talk Sport. The ball is on the right with Harry Kane, who hoists it forward. Son is isolated, the fullback. He's left it for Sissoko, who's charging past Azpilicueta, who doesn't deal with it, but Conte does. He comes across, and there, very quickly, was N'Golo Conte to get it away for Chelsea and save the day.
Well, it's got frantic inside Wembley now, both sets of fans. Tottenham are inside Chelsea's half for the first time this half, near enough. And Chelsea, well,
they didn't look secure there, did they?
No, they didn't. The pace and power of Tottenham, as you said earlier, they look as though they got more idea and more cutting edge when they do actually get hold of the ball and look to probe.
Always a threat Spurs record under Pochettino against the Big Six is not brilliant. 15 wins in 45 games coming into this fixture. It will be a big victory. It will set them up nicely for the second leg if they can get through this 90 minutes. They'll want Harry Kane to get through the 90 minutes as well. He's just been played the ball down the right-hand side. Does he seem to be moving okay for you?
Yeah, without a doubt. I think he'll know himself. He knows his own body.
Maurizio Sarri's only won 4 of his 12 games with the top 2 in Italy when he was the manager of Napoli. The 2 outstanding teams, Juve and Serie A and Roma. And 2 managers that are trying to go from excellent coaches to outstanding winning coaches, both yet to win their first major trophy. One of them will get to a final this year. It's a leap that they've got to make. And they both know it. Here is Barkley, on to Jorginho. Barkley looking for the run of Pedro, but before he could release the ball, Dele Alli was there to nab it. Hasn't really had the best of games, Barkley, tonight. The ball picked up by Kane, who's trying to run at the Chelsea defence. Eventually, between Conte and Jorginho, they stop him, but then Dele Alli's trying to stop Conte from getting away. It's a lovely back heel by Conte to find Jorginho, and Chelsea are out. Under pressure inside their own half. They're away on this left-hand side with Alonso, who progresses to the halfway line. He's got space on the left for Callum Hudson-Odoi, who's made the run, but the ball didn't go to him. Too delayed, and now Hazard is trying to get away from the run of Son and Sanchez, and a foul has been given against Davinson Sanchez. But he's had to come very deep there to get the ball, Hazard.
He has. There's a bit of frustration in his play when it's almost like you're the best kid in the playground and you want the ball all the time, and you get an element of frustration with those around you in your team that are not giving you the ball when you want it.
I just saw Hudson-Odoi make a really good run down the left side, but he wasn't spotted by the Chelsea midfield. And then he had to check and come back, and that meant that there was no ball forward for Chelsea, so again it slowed on the attack.
Yeah, and this is where the conversations about Fabregas and his ability to find that pass maybe and change it, you know, that obviously he's on his bike very shortly.
Yeah, if not now, in the summer. They agreed a deal with Monaco apparently today to go in June. Whether or not they can seal that before the end of this window is another matter. Here on the right side, the ball has been played in towards the near post by Pedro. And as the ball came in, it was flicked goalwards actually by Alderweireld. Actually, it was further away from the goal than I thought. It's out for a corner.
Yeah, from our angle here, it looked as though that might have crept inside the near post. It was only the replay that suggested it was further wide.
The ball is out for a corner to be taken by Eden Hazard. Chelsea got 5 up again. It's into the near post, away by Winks. They haven't made the most of these corners, Stuart, either.
No, they haven't. And, you know, one person who used to when he was wearing a blue shirt coming up from the back, Cahill, you know, and they've not had him in the ranks most of this season now, have they?
I wonder whether his future will be decided in this window. Again, Barkley is on the halfway line there, Ross Barkley. Ali's quicker and sharper, nicks it off him before he can play it, and Spurs have turned the ball over again.
Yeah, he's lost the ball on 2 or 3 occasions in rather poor areas, to be honest.
Rose, far side for Tottenham Hotspur, who lead 1-0 thanks to Harry Kane's penalty. Ball back in the right full-back position where it's picked up now by first Pilikueta, then Conte, and then Barkley onto Hazard, who shields the ball so well from Davinson Sanchez, but then harassed by Eriksen. It comes to Kane. Kane charging forward. Good tackle that by Christensen, and Chelsea have it back again. Now they move down the right with Pedro running at real speed. Acceleration from Pedro was really good, but then he stopped, held onto the ball because Hazard had moved into a wing position, and Ali came across and just nudged it away from the Spaniard. I don't think it'll be too long before we see another change for Chelsea, and they'll have to bring on Giroud at some stage. 1-0, of course, not insurmountable in the second leg, though.
No, it's not a bad result in some ways, but Chelsea will still have the same problems at Stamford Bridge, I think, as they've had tonight. That lack of a centre forward.
Hazard trying to play the ball into a wing position, gives it to Conte. Conte back to Eden Hazard, and then he tries to get round Dele Alli, can't do so has to give it to Conte. Conte into Pedro, first time ball onto Azpilicueta. Again, Tottenham defending really well. Dele Alli's put himself about a bit, wins the tackle with Hazard and puts Tottenham on the front foot. Finds Son, Eriksen, Kane's in an offside position, knew it, didn't go for the ball, it runs clear and it's shepherded all the way back to Kepa Arrizabalaga.
Yeah, still, you just have a feeling with this game that there's a sucker punch coming for Chelsea. I'm just waiting for Tottenham to break away and find the net at the moment.
Here's Pedro, on the near side is Hudson-Odoi. Trippier deals with it just about. Joining the attack for Chelsea is Alonso. Hudson-Odoi's in support, so is Jorginho. Only scored once this season, it was from the penalty spot earlier in the campaign. Hazard couldn't get that under control from Jorginho. It's cleared away by Spurs. And with Son and Kane and Ali and Eriksen on the pitch, you can understand why, Stuart, you feel as if there's always a chance that they'll come forward and get one.
Yeah, and as is often the case in these games, you have the multitude of possession and you push players forward and you're chasing the game and trying to get back into it, and just spaces start to appear in your back line and midfield.
Well, he's going to make a change, Maurizio Sarri, but it's not going to be Olivier Giroud, Ian Abrahams.
No, it's not. It's going to be Mateo Kovacic just coming on. I presume it'll be for Ross Barkley. Spurs are going to bring on Eric Lamela as well.
Well, that is the substitution that takes place almost every single time that Chelsea play. If Barkley starts the game, Kovacic will come on. If Kovacic starts the game, Barkley will come on. I don't think it changes too much for Chelsea. Here is Rose over on the far side. Son just trying to bend his run, time his run to get onto the end of Rose's pass, but it's away by Christensen. Hazard felt he was over-connected by Rose. The ball goes out of play and away for a Tottenham throw. They get it moving again through Kane, then Winks. And they're in control again after riding what was a real storm at the beginning of this second half, Tottenham. Trippier took it out of the sky well. Alonso has dealt with it. Now he's been pinned in his fullback area. He has got it out to Barkley. Barkley's got to keep it under control. He feeds Azpilicueta. Now there might be a chance for Chelsea to get forward. Azpilicueta finds Hazard just over halfway. Eyes darting everywhere as he runs up against Dele Alli, who again has done very well tonight. Plays the ball back inside Ali and runs to the edge of the box. He shrugs off Ali, pokes it through the centre, hits a hand, goes through to Conte. Hazard can't believe that it didn't get whistled by Michael Oliver. Wants a penalty kick, hasn't got one. The ball is cleared by Spurs.
Yeah, clever play there by Hazard. Darted in the box, waited till he got just inside the box and then flicked it up at a hand, I think.
Here is Jorginho, forward to the left, and Callum Hudson-Odoi. On to Alonso, gets the return pass. He's right down by the byline though. When he reaches it, there's no one in the centre apart from N'Golo Conte, who is 5'2". Jorginho gets it, sets, tries to shoot. It's 10 yards over the bar. It'll be interesting now to see whether or not the referee waits and sees a review of that penalty incident. They are going to make a change, and it is, as Ian Abraham suggested. Let's get confirmation of it.
Yeah, coming number 8, Barkley's evening is over. On goes Kovacic. Spurs will bring on Lamela, but they're just waiting a little bit. Pochettino, I think, we'll wait for the next break in play.
Deliberate handball it has to be, was it?
It was a defender saying, I'm not going to move my hand to the ball, but I'm not going to move my hand out of the way of the ball because I know it's going to stop the momentum of the ball.
No penalty is the verdict from the VAR. Kovacic is on. I like the fact that you let me into a little secret there. I feel like you've given me a bit of information I would never have known. That not moving the ball. Have you done that before?
Of course. It's common sense from a defender's point of view. No one tells you you have to deliberately move your hand away from the ball. Just keep it tucked in by the side. Don't move it. Just move your body instead. It hits your arm and you've made no hand to ball movement as such.
9 times out of 10 you'll get away with that.
Oh, you will. No doubt.
15 minutes to go. You're listening to Talk Sport. Might be more pertinent for Maurizio Sarri to remind himself that no Chelsea manager has survived a season under Roman Abramovich without winning a trophy. This could be a way into that little club Here's Alderweireld trying to clip it forward, looking for Harry Kane. Header away was by Rudiger. Ali's got it now, scurrying, fighting, scrapping for every ball, Dele Alli, who's almost dropped a little bit deeper in the second half in order to try and nullify any threat from anyone who's trying to break from midfield for Chelsea. Ball has been played down the left by Marcos Alonso. I'm guessing he did that blind because he just seemed to shoot the ball. Well, he actually had a little look up and teased it down the line. I don't know who he was teasing it to, but it went all the way through into the box and found its way to Gazzaniga, who actually just went and picked it up, and it was rather harmless. Next up for Spurs, remember on Sunday they've got Manchester United at home here, Fulham at home after, Fulham away after that, before the second leg of this cup tie. Palace away in the cup, the FA Cup that is, and then Watford, Newcastle and Leicester all at home. They do have quite a batch of home games to get through because of the situation at the beginning of the season where they wanted to play more away than at home because they were hoping to get the new stadium ready. Here is Rudiger spraying the ball out to the left side, and it's a perfect ball for Hudson-Odoi, who gets the ball in towards the near post. Alonso was joining, and there was pressure from Sanchez. It's out for a corner, but there was a better ball. If he could have found Pedro, who was in the centre, that might have been the man to pick out.
Yeah, for one of the first times tonight, they've actually got the ball wide and got Tottenham's back line facing their own goal, tracking back with players coming down on goal. And Sanchez done well. It's been very aggressive tonight, especially where Hazard's concerned.
Here's the corner, deep towards the far post. He's looking for Rudiger. Rudiger heads it against Ali. Claims of handball again from the Chelsea support. Rudiger tries to turn it back into the centre. Only half cleared by Spurs. Conte trying to win it. Kane trying to escape. Draws the foul. So clever. He is so clever, Harry Kane. Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Just slowed down, waited for Alonso to come behind him, took the contact, wins the free kick, and Spurs are under no pressure at all.
Intelligent play.
Changes afoot down on the touchline. Here's TalkSport's Ian Abrahams.
Yeah, Heung-min Son's off to the Asia Cup soon. He's got one more game this weekend against United. He's being replaced now, though, by Eric Lamela. That's pretty much like for like. And Olivier Giroud, you're right, Sam. This game has been crying out for him to come on before now. When he's finally getting onto the pitch, Callum Hudson-Odoi is being withdrawn, so Hazard will go wide one side, Pedro the other, Giroud down the middle. Look, he did score here, of course, in front of you in that league games.
Well, Olivier Giroud says Wembley's my back garden. He scored in the FA Cup final, the semi-final, the Community Shield. He absolutely loves scoring here. His last domestic goal was here in the 3-1 defeat earlier in the campaign. And he has come off the bench. Can he get the goal to put Chelsea on terms? Spurs have made their change as well, with Lamela coming onto the field of play. And we have got now just 10 minutes to go before the conclusion of this first leg of the semi-final of the Carabao Cup on TalkSport. And it is Spurs who are in front by just 1-0. Here is Christensen across to Conte. Conte over halfway. And he finds Pedro now. Pedro centrally looking for Jorginho. Lamela, though, I mean, Jorginho took too much time, hesitated, and as a result of that, there was an opportunity for Lamela to slide in and nick it. Kane sends it over the top. Sissoko going after it. Gabriel Malaga came off his line a long way and headed the ball clear. Good goalkeeping.
It was. For a moment there, I thought he'd overextended himself like we saw in the first half.
Well, £71.6 million worth of goalkeeper. Came very quickly off his line there. He did have a wobble on his last visit. He has given away the penalty which separates these two teams, but he made a good choice on that occasion. And I think when you've invested £71 million on a 24-year-old goalkeeper, you have to realise he's going to make mistakes at times. He is going to occasionally do things that aren't perfect, but you obviously have bought him for a reason. You've got to trust in him, haven't you? He's got a 6.5-year contract.
Well, it's such an important position. I think sometimes we belittle how important the position is, but it's vital. Liverpool have shown that. Manchester United, their goalkeepers. Man City.
And Hazard has just gone down after a tackle from Sissoko. Hazard still on the floor, being helped to his feet now by Rudiger. Not happy with the treatment that he's got there from the French international. He held the ball back to go on halfway, and he just had a little nibble at him, didn't he?
They've roughed him up. Well, I wouldn't say fairly. They've roughed him up tonight.
Lovely Cruyff turn by Hazard to get to the edge of the area. Tries to spray it out to Pedro. Doesn't quite work. Jorginho tries to win it, but Ali is there quickly once again for Tottenham. And the ball goes all the way back to Arrizabalaga in the Chelsea goal. In fact, he's about 10 yards out of his area when he plays that. Sweeping up for Chelsea. Back out to the right it goes. Pedro wanting to get the ball into Giroud, who's screaming for it in the centre. Hazard once again goes down under pressure, this time from Lamela. The free kick has been given here. Again, I thought he drew that, but it was a little bit clumsy from Eric Lamela, and it's a yellow card.
Yeah, he got his body across Hazard. I certainly think it was a foul, no doubt about that. But Hazard's so quick off the mark, it's incredible. From a standstill, he pushes forward and he's just got his body across the front of him.
It's definitely a foul, isn't it?
Yeah, if he'd have dealt with a ball and then taken his body across him, you can say, you can put an argument up. I'm not sure you can there.
Lamela has to retreat into his box because Chelsea are now going to whip this free kick in from the right side, and taking it is Eden Hazard. His feet are astride, he clips it in towards the near post. Rose gets up there though and heads it away. Conte tries to win it, is loose on the edge of the area. Kovacic keeps things moving, but not with any real purpose, and Chelsea having to retreat rather than go forward, and it's all the way back to halfway. Azpilicueta sends it wide. Another free kick corner that hasn't really generated anything for Chelsea. Lovely skill to go past Kane by Hazard. He runs up though against Winks, and Winks takes it off him. Then Conte takes it off Kane. Chelsea turn it over. Conte runs down the right. Rose smashes it into Rosed. And the contest really has been heated tonight. It hasn't quite been the battle of the bridge, but there's certainly been no quarter given or asked.
No, you're right there. Chelsea have not come here. What they've got to be mindful of is they don't concede the second goal. They've dominated possession in this second half. Another goal now, for me, will just kill them off in the second leg. They've always got a chance just being 1-0 down. But they look like a team that are chasing it and want the equaliser and desperate for the equaliser.
Yep, 6 minutes to go on Talk Sport. The second leg coming in 2 weeks' time on a Thursday. Here on the right side is Pedro into the area. Oh, it's a clipped header by Sanchez, and it's kept alive by Alonso. Left side of the box, back into the middle. Giroud was coming towards the near post. I just think the ball wasn't brilliant from Alonso. It was too high for Giroud, and it goes behind and away, out of play, and into the arms of Gazzaniga.
But what you've got a centre forward in there that's occupying the two centre halves and is on the move. So that gives Chelsea something to aim for.
And Chelsea have had a lot to aim for in this second half. They've absolutely bossed the second 45, mainly because they're chasing the game, and Tottenham are quite content with their defensive ability. But, you know, we go into the 85th minute, the most passes completed in the opposition half. Callum Hudson-Odoi, 43. Azpilicueta 42, Alonso 41, Conte 35, Jorginho 32, the most by a Spurs player in opposition territory over the course of the match. Christian Eriksen 17.
Well, that probably tells you exactly how this second half's gone. I thought Chelsea were well in it in the first half, and you know, but the one thing Tottenham have got at this moment in time is a goals lead.
Yep, and it came from a penalty kick given away by Arrizabalaga inside the box away to our left-hand side. Now they're having to defend, though, Chelsea, because Trippier's coming forward. He angles his run to the right edge of the penalty area, hands it off to Eriksen. His effort is deflected, and Pedro has managed to bring that ball clear. Lovely bit of skill to tease it away from the Dane. Helps it up to Hazard, who protects it, brings it back in field, allows Chelsea to regroup. He runs through the centre circle, finds Azpilicueta with a neat ball, which is picked up by the Spaniard. He's got some space now to operate in, sends it on down the right for Hazard, who's onside. He's being trapped by Rose. He's now by the side of the penalty area. He's got Ali alongside him. He's going to go on the outside here, get to the byline, low cross into the centre, fumbled by the goalkeeper, might come back to Marcus Alonso, who drives it goalwards. It deflects into the air off of Trippier, who turned his back and caught it with the outside of his calf, and then it's smacked away by Dele Alli to halfway, and it remains 1-0 to Spurs.
I tell you what, all of that set up by Hazard, absolutely sensational. He gets you stone cold dead, he stops you, and then his movement off the mark is sensational.
He's done it again to Ali, into the area this time to Azpilicueta, sets up Pedro. Pedro trying to scoop it forward to Giroud, and he can't quite do it. It's smuggled back by Trippier to the goalkeeper and held on to by Gazzaniga. Are they going to see this through, Tottenham Hotspur? 4 minutes to go. Are they going to get over the line against Chelsea here, or is there going to be late drama, as there has been in many a game between the two? In fact, the first game of last season between them here, the lead changed hands right at the very end of the game. Alonso's got a late goal on that day. Jorginho, lovely skill. Giroud, back to Kovacic. Then on to Jorginho again. Chelsea have it on halfway. Rudiger curling it out to the far side. Now it's in the possession of Azpilicueta. Looking up to funnel it forward was Jorginho. First time ball by Pedro, out to N'Golo Conte. Then it's on to the right again and Azpilicueta. Back to Conte, driving into the box now, helping it on to Pedro, allows it to run across his body. There's a tackle going in there from Alderweireld, and Spurs clear. And now the sucker punch could be on, because Kane has sent it through the centre to Lamela. Lamela allowed it to go past his body. He goes past Alonso. Did he knock him down there? The referee said he did, and the foul is given against Eric Lamela. There wasn't much in that.
See, that would be a situation where I would say let it go on and then VAR it.
Well, the referee didn't do that, blew his whistle, felt there was a foul by Eric Lamela, who had isolated Alonso, gone beyond him, and was one-on-one with Kepa Arrizabalaga. Big moment in the tie, possibly. Chelsea have missed a chance from 6 yards in this second half, and there Lamela felt he was well within his rights to continue his run and have a shot on goal. The referee didn't give him the opportunity to do that. Here's Jorginho, Kovacic, across to Azpilicueta, space out wide for Pedro, into the area he goes, fizzes the ball through the 6-yard box, too close to the goalkeeper, smothered by Gazzaniga, and another chance goes a-begging.
I tell you what, they're only little minute saves, but every time his handling's been very, very clean, and I think he's had a really solid game for Spurs tonight.
Well, he did well against, what he had to do against Tranmere. He did well when he played in the odd league game back in the early part of the season. And he's certainly now number 2 to Hugo Lloris. Change for Tottenham Hotspur. TalkSport's Ian Abrahams is right behind the dugouts.
Harry Winks is coming off, getting a good reception. This is brave by a manager in the last minute of a first leg of a semi-final. Young Oliver Skipp comes off the bench. Not an experienced player, but Oliver Skipp for what must only be his 4th or 5th appearance in the season so far.
Yep, 18 years of age. It's his 8th appearance this campaign after making his debut against West Ham United in this competition. And he goes into the heart of the midfield, the position vacated by Harry Winks. And he is a player who they believe in, just like they believed in Harry Winks, and look what they've done for him over the last couple of years. It's with Alonso steering the ball long and out towards the far side. Still, the danger is not over. 30 seconds of normal time to play in the first leg of the semi-final here on TalkSport. 1-0 to Tottenham. Azpilicueta diverts the ball into the box looking for Alonso. Kovacic keeps it alive. Alonso's got it inside the box now. Tees up Hazard. He's on the left side of the area. Tries to pull it back to Pedro. Across comes Lamela. Good defensive work by him. Shot away by Ali, and it's over the halfway line. And we're just about to see how many minutes of added time there's going to be at the end of the 90. Chelsea still desperate, it looks like, Stuart, to get an equaliser in the game.
I think for 90 minutes they've chased the game. I really do, especially this second half, Sam.
3 minutes of added time at the end of the 90. Hey, there you go. That's how you produce a board to tell you what the added minutes are. Not like the FA Cup when it's only got one side. Carabao Cup's got 2 sides.
That's much better, isn't it?
Up with technology, the old Carabao Cup.
Yeah. You and your pet hates.
I need to think of it. It's Pierce's pet hates. I need to think of one for me. Mataface's morning moans. No, it's not going to work. Mataface's moan, yeah. Ericsson coming off, Ian Abrahams.
He is, yeah. Fernando Llorente coming on. I mean, what does Harry Kane need to do, boys, to get a rest? Even for 3 minutes.
Maurizio Sarri still in conversation with Gianfranco Zola and the 4th official, Kevin Friend. He's not happy about something. Maybe Moose can investigate that. Here is Alonso trying to get it central, giving it straight to Harry Kane, and now Spurs are breaking away here, and Sissoko moving up towards the halfway line, being chased by Kovacic, or back heel, which is ill-advised. He's given it to Kovacic, and now Chelsea can come forward. He sent it central onto Jorginho, who skipped past Dele Alli. The referee said play on because it's run through to Conte. Conte trying to go beyond Danny Rose. Good tackle from Danny Rose. Oh, he's hurt his hamstring, Danny Rose, in doing that, and he's just had to kick the ball away. Danny Rose might be in a spot of bother over on that far side, and they've just brought on their final substitute, haven't they? And that's going to be a problem for the last few seconds of this game. Only 90 to play. Talk Sport. Rose hobbling. Chelsea coming forward. Jorginho hesitates. Conte takes it into his body and then is dispossessed by Dele Alli. Good work.
Yeah, he's not running smoothly, Rosie. He's either got a bit of cramp or his hamstring's gone.
Ball is on the far side. Chelsea have it. It's with Azpilicueta. We've played 2 of the 3 added minutes at the end of the 90 on TalkSport in the Carabao Cup. Chelsea about to lose at Wembley for the second time this season. It'll be the first time that Spurs have won 3 in a row over Chelsea since the early 60s. Rudiger, long ball forward, looking for Giroud, gets a header in which runs through to Alonso in the left wing position. He's trying to turn and get it back into the box. Hazard takes over. He's being watched by Skip. He goes round Skip into the left wing, goes beyond him towards the byline. Skip dives in, puts the ball behind. It's a last minute corner for Chelsea.
Well, they're going to be throwing bodies up into the box now. One last hurrah to try and get this game level.
30 seconds to go at the end of added time, at the end of the 90, at the end of the first leg. Can they get the away goal? Hazard, poor corner into the near post. It's not quite clear. Giroud with an acrobatic effort, repelled by the Tottenham defence, and it's pushed out to halfway, and that may be the last chance that Chelsea have got to score here this evening, and it will be a lead that they take, Tottenham Hotspur, to Stamford Bridge in 2 weeks' time. For the second time in 2 months, Spurs have beaten Chelsea. For years the Blues had a hoodoo over their foes from North London, but after 4 wins in 6 against them, the tables appear to have turned. Maurizio Pochettino has 1 foot and 1 extra goal in the Carabao Cup. It's finished at Stamford Bridge. That's Wembley, sorry. We're going to Stamford Bridge. It's finished at Wembley. Tottenham 1, Chelsea 0. There is a bit of a flashpoint.